All right, here we go. First, Alaboom post Gen Con. Barry, you got your big orange drink? You ready to go?
Got my bottle of iced tea. I'm ready.
Is that what it is? It's iced tea.
Yeah, it's just in a red bottle
It's
or a
it's all,
green one.
it just always looks like it's a weird jug. Travis and I talked about that at Gen Con for a little while. Just wondering, how much alcohol is in that.
Nah, I got a bottle here.
Oh, well, sorry.
It's,
What are you drinking? What's in
that's the
that bottle?
Olmore Doe.
The what?
Olmore Doe. It's an Irish whiskey.
El Mardo. I gotta tell you, buddy, it doesn't sound exactly tough.
Tullamore Dew.
Mountain Dew? What?
Yes, Mountain Dew.
I can't understand you at all. Is it just like some strong ass Irish whiskey?
It, I heard it compared to Scotch a lot. I never really drank Scotch, though, so I don't know.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of Scotch myself. It's just kind of like, I don't know, meh, at least.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I got a couple of friends. I remember a long time ago, not a long time ago, like 10 years ago or so, a buddy of mine was playing poker online, and he won like $2,000 in a tournament or whatever. And he bought like $1,000 poker table and like an $800 bottle of scotch.
Uh,
Yeah, and so then he brought it over for and then so then we had the big thing or whatever. We had the play on the poker table. And then he had this super expensive bottle of scotch. I don't know where he got it, if he ordered it or whatever. And then so he poured everybody like a little glass full of it. And I remember I was like, well, this is horrible. I was just like, I didn't find it to be very good at all. And then one of the idiots knocked over the bottle and spilled, like a good 3 ounces of it onto the poker table. So not only did he like waste, like $75 worth of scotch, he also like put a permanent stain on the table, that evening. So it was just kind of like, great, just perfect duo, if you will. But anyway, so here we are. It's post Gen Con excitement. Keith and I are sporting our super awesome Board Game Geek jerseys that Scott Alden was kind enough to give us, which was really super awesome of him. How's yours fit there, buddy?
I went way too big on the size, but that means there's just it'll be nice and comfy.
Yeah, it is nice and comfy, isn't it? Mine, it's same. It's like jerseys are weird. It's like they're always a little bit bigger. So like if you normally wear like a 2X or a 3X or whatever, you can usually go with one size smaller. But then you run the risk of getting one that doesn't fit right.
Yeah,
So.
then you get one that doesn't fit and it's too tight, and nothing's worse than a tight jersey, right? So
Yeah,
I'm swimming in it, and I don't care because it's freaking cool.
yeah, it is. And Keith, stand up and show off your. Mine says Undead Viking on the back. What number did you pick, by the way?
13.
And then major malfunction on the back. So, and mine's 00 and it says Undead Viking. I've always worn 00, no matter what, no matter what I do, no matter what I played.
I wore it
00.
on duty Saturday night at Gen Con. So
You worked for the geek?
I did. I went and ran the hot games room for a couple of hours so Aldi could take his team out.
Oh, where did they go?
They went to Capitol Grill or something like that.
So tell me, what was that like with running the hot games room?
Right at the peak time, because I took over right at 8 o'clock, which seemed to be when everybody wanted to come in to play the hot games room. And so it was super crowded and super busy. I brought a sandwich with me, and I got there at a quarter till 8, and I ate it at about 8:25.
Oh, yeah?
But it was mostly us turning away people that had generics because the room was still too full. But
What was the game that everyone wanted to play?
So there were multiple games that people were wanting to play, and so what I kind of did was kept an eye on. Well, I had more than one copy that had multiple copies that were out at the same time most of the time. So Scythe, 2 copies, always out. Cry Havoc, mostly 2 copies, always out. Vast had 2 copies, almost always out. Then I would see Isle of Skye on the table a lot. I would see, God, my brain's farting out on me now. Islebound was out, 2 copies quite a bit. I saw Ticket to Ride Rails and Sails out on the table most of the time when I went out there. And then a little bit of everything else. They had almost every new Gen Con game except for maybe Seafall out there, and people were playing them like crazy.
Was
It
there
super popular?
was there ever anything you taught, or is it just one of those things where?
No, I didn't teach. I was basically handing people their games, taking tickets, and things like that. Going out and chasing people out when their time was up so that new people could come in.
Well, how did it work? How did you know their time was up?
So I don't know who on Aldi's team came up with this brilliant idea, but what they did was when you gave your tickets for your time block, you had a 2-hour block for your ticket. And they would give you a playing card, and the playing card would show your end time, and you would display your playing card on your table. And so then when I walked by after 10 o'clock and you had a 10 on the table, that means you were out of time. And if you had a queen on your table, I knew you were good till midnight. So that's how they kept track of that. So it was extremely cool little idea for managing that at Gen Con. And I'm telling you right now, if they could have had double the room, they could have had it full the whole time. I think Aldi posted they took 1,700 tickets over the course of the con. And, you think about that right there. They canceled an event that had sold 1 ticket in there. So, yeah, reaching out to Board Game Geek was huge for Gen Con. They made a lot of money.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it was a good experience because people would come and ask, and I'd recommend games for people. About
Was it just you or alone, or there was?
No, Jennifer was also in there with me. So there was somebody else. They always keep at least 2 people in there all the time. So, but yeah, it was lots of fun. And then people would say, "What do you think for X number of players or X amount of time?" And fortunately, I know enough about games and had paid enough attention going into Gen Con of what was hot, etc., that I was able to be somewhat useful in that capacity. A couple of times, people were confused on some rules for games I'd played before, so I had time to go do that as well. So that was cool. And so that was the second coolest experience I had in the hot games room for the whole convention. So.
Well, there you go. So, so you didn't go, Barry. Obviously, you didn't attend the extravaganza, if you will.
Nope.
But did you? What did you? I mean, did you watch from afar? Did you do any Gen Cant stuff?
Nope. I went down the shore. Yeah.
Good for you. I'm sure that was amazing.
Don't watch any of that shit when I'm not going to them.
Yeah. Well, because it makes you too sad.
Yeah, that and like my feeds get swamped with it. I just get sick of it after a while. Yeah.
Yeah, my feed's pretty buried between Marco and Forrest. I can't find the video I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I exhibit hauled the F out at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. So what was your I hate this question, but I have to ask.
Don't ask that question. There's no answer to that question.
What was your game of the convention?
I just told you, don't ask that question.
I just asked it, so suck it up.
I'm not going to answer it. I refuse. There is no game of the convention.
How many games did you play?
I did not play very many games. That's the bad thing about Gen Con is I don't get to play a lot of games. It's usually my own fault, but I played at Gen Con. I played Space Planet, Suchi Dice, Dichteron, Codenames Pictures, Raiders in the North Seas, Yakuza, Hit the Road, Final Touch, Captain Sonar, High School, Tides of Madness, and Retreat to Darkmoor and Cry Havoc, and that's it. That's all I played. And I also demoed like a round of Covert and a couple of rounds of a couple other little games. The worst game I played by far was Final Touch from Asmodee. It was a pile. I did not like it.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. What was a pile?
Final Touch from Asmodee.
I didn't even hear of that. I mean, what the
Yeah,
heck is that?
they're showing it. They had it demoing it. It's not released yet, and it's from Mike Elliott. And it's supposed to be a family game, and basically you're having to play cards with a different color onto a picture to complete the different colors that are needed on it, or sabotage it. And the only way you score the card is to put the very last card on. So what you do in your turn is so simple that a chimp on life support could do it. Yet the strategy to be able to time how to play that last card to make it break for you is too complex for children, which just makes it hit the middle of way too easy for adults and way too hard for kids. Just junk. It's not worth $5, let alone whatever they're going to charge for it.
Tell me what you really think.
I just did.
Okay. Well, no, that was pretty
No,
brutal.
it was a demo that I sat through it, and not only did I have to listen to the pitch twice because one of the guys that was there to demo it turned around to talk to somebody that walked by and completely missed the girl's demo, so she had to completely repeat it, which he should have been beaten for. I wanted to walk out after one round of the game, but felt it would be rude, so I just played as poorly as I could to make it end as fast as possible.
Fair enough.
Now, I bought more games than I played, so...
Yeah, my box of stuff that I shipped home, which actually was relatively painless this time around. I don't know if you don't have to because you drove, right?
Nope, I threw it all in an IKEA bag and a half.
Hold on one second here. There's the office center that Gen Con has, and I finally got, like, last year I asked the guy who runs that, this guy Eric. I asked him like several times. I was like, why didn't UPS show up? Why weren't they here? And he never had an answer. He's like, I don't know why they're here. And I finally flat out, and I asked him this year, and then he said that basically they got thrown out basically because they weren't cleaning up after themselves. They weren't doing their job basically. And I don't know. I think it was more likely that he wanted them out so they could make money or whatever. But he actually ordered larger boxes, so like all 83 pounds of my games could fit in one box.
Wow. Okay,
yeah.
You were worse than I was with 83 pounds. Mine didn't do that.
Well, and see, the year before it was worse because the year before I had 4 boxes, but then again, which probably would have fit in 2 of these. So last year I actually had way more. This year I admittedly, the number of games, I haven't even opened up that box yet. And then of course I had some that I put in my luggage as well to bring home. I
had 26 things I picked up.
Yeah, I'm right around, I think it's around like 36 or 40 or so. But I mean that was way down from last year.
And most of them were smaller boxes.
Yeah, there's a lot of small box games, tons of small box games.
Like bigger boxes I picked up that were large were like Secret Hitler and Oceano, Simmer, Vast, Cry Havoc, Last Friday.
Yeah, Hey, is your last Friday broken or not? Have the wrong insert or whatever?
What was wrong with your insert?
Well, I guess there's like some portion to like I haven't even opened mine up yet. So if you haven't opened it, there's no way. But I mean, Jeremy can probably.
I have opened it, but I don't know what's wrong.
What's the deal with the last Friday copies, Salinas?
The player board is punched backwards.
So is it unplayable then?
No, it's playable. It's just you just have to look at it backwards. In a sense.
I would laugh if he fell down the stairs right now.
The basement.
I didn't notice that on mine, but it might be.
I'll have to look at mine. I haven't even opened it yet. So, ooh, look, he's going on set. Look at this guy. What's up there, Jer Bear?
Nothing, man. How's your recovery? Are you fully recovered from Gen Con?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just I got some sleep and got back into the swing of things. No Man's Sky released yesterday, so I told everybody at TMG I needed like 3-4 days off so I could just play the heck out of that. And,
Is that good?
depends on what you're looking for. It's definitely open box. It definitely just throws you out into the wild. It doesn't give you a manual. It doesn't really teach you anything. So I kind of appreciate that. I mean, I'll fully admit that I was weaned. I mean, I remember playing adventure games and having no clue what to do and having to figure it out by just basically hammering away until you finally figured it out. And then lots of games like Warcraft and stuff like that, World of Warcraft, like changed that. They kind of held your hand and
They're
said, "No,
really
you."
holding your hand now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it was like, now you need to go here, and now you need to go here and do this, you know. And in here, it kind of has that, but you don't really have like a quest book or anything. You kind of have a pop-up that says, "Hey, you should probably fix the warp drive on your spaceship." You don't have to if you don't want to. You could just fly around the opening system that you're at and just, you know, explore it all day long if you want to. Eventually, you'll fix your warp drive and you'll start flying around. There's all kinds of alien races that have weird languages that you don't understand, so you don't really know what they're telling you. You can find bits and pieces of encyclopedias and stuff like that. You'll slowly but surely learn the language. So like a few of the words when they speak to you, you'll understand, so you can kind of get an idea of what they're telling you. And it's completely open world. I mean, it's just, okay, I'm going to, you know, fly to this planet and I'm going to land on it. And they're huge. The planets are absolutely huge. I mean, like, you think, oh, okay, so it's just a planet. No, I mean, you are tiny and you're in a giant universe and you're a tiny little speck. I think somebody said, who did they say? It is the perfect boredom waster. Like, if you're just like, God, I have nothing to do. Oh, well, I'll just boot up No Man's Sky and I'll go fly to this planet and I'll search the whole thing. You know, just meticulously go through. And the thing is that it's like I'm on the moon of a planet right now that I found has a ton of gold that I can mine, and it's worth a lot of money. So I'm going there and I'm mining out this gold so I can make a bunch of money so I can buy a bigger ship. And so that's what I'm doing. That has nothing to do with the quest or anything. It's just something I decided I wanted to do. But I'm on a moon, and like the planet is huge. I mean, it's just like if this is my screen or whatever, the planet as I'm flying in takes up the entire screen, and then there's a little tiny moon that's about that big. I'm on that moon mining it. I haven't even gone to the planet that the moon is orbiting. So the scope of the game is just as huge as everybody. And the thing is that I don't feel any weird rush to like, oh, I got to be the first person to get this, that, and the other thing. You just don't feel that because it's so big. It's just never really going to matter, you know? I don't know. It's right now, I mean, like I said, I played it. I was talking to Patrick Nickel. He said he played it for 15 hours straight, and he said he's just absolutely loving it. And but yeah, it's kind of weird. It's got a little bit of Minecraft to it, you know, because it just doesn't really teach you anything, you know. So you kind of have to, and you're mining and you're digging up stuff, and you're just kind of learning how to craft things as you go along. But I mean, there's more to it. I just, you know, it's one of those things where time will tell with it, I'm guessing. If you own a PS4 or a PC, I would strongly suggest picking it up. Why not? You know, it'd at least be something you could mess with and do whatever, right?
If only I had time to do that.
Yeah, you're too busy making unboxing videos for your stuff. You must have had a good convention, right, buddy? Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, cutting out. What'd you say?
You had a good convention, good Gen Con.
Yeah, I started way too early, though. I mean, I started on Monday. So I got there, and a couple people were there, and I started playing games all day Monday, and Tuesday vendors started to roll in, so I just literally walked the floor all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, and I skipped on Saturday. I didn't even go downtown.
I don't know how I didn't run into you at all.
Yeah, like 1,500 times, man.
Yeah,
I saw you all the time. I mean, I spent probably 30 plus hours on the floor prior to even the convention starting. So I was exhausted. I mean, Saturday I spent all day just preparing for videos this week. So I said, man, I didn't even go downtown. I was tired.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you guys get out of going to Gen Con.
I got 70 miles of walking in.
Well, other than the shit ton of walking and all that. I mean, why do you go to that one specifically as opposed to any
Because
other?
that's where the new stuff is. And that's where everybody else goes, so I can see everybody else.
It's because I live here, too. Keith
And
and I
I'm
both live
an
here.
hour away, so.
Makes it easy.
I think, in my opinion, it is. I think what I get out of it is seeing the people. Honestly,
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things too where it's like, I mean, if I didn't go, I actually save money, obviously, because I wouldn't be paying for a hotel room and a flight and whatever. But also like I just pick up the games I was interested in, for cheaper online after the fact.
Right. Yeah, this year's list, when we were going down it a couple weeks ago, was kind of lackluster to me.
It was, but there were some diamonds in the rough. I mean, it was just one of those weird
There
things.
were some solid games, a handful of solid games. Then there were several decent games, and I found a few things I wasn't really planning on. And then lots of little things that I wanted, but in the end, there wasn't much, oh my God, I have to have this game, and if I don't get it now, I'm not going to get it for 2 months, right? It was basically everything that was there is basically out now, almost. I mean, there's a handful. Cry Heavy, I have trouble
Everything.
getting, but not everything, but a lot of it.
What were you saying, Jeremy?
I was saying not everything.
Yeah.
Trying to be cryptic.
Yeah.
Stop smiling, Gary.
Who invited this guy?
I
Hey
did.
guys.
Hey.
So yeah,
Do you
did
want to introduce your friend there, buddy?
Yeah, Gary helps us with the show. He was on our Gen Con episode. We'll be back for a couple more episodes. Just a gamer like everyone else, right?
Well,
Yeah,
welcome aboard.
I appreciate it.
Gary, is it?
Yes. Good to be with you guys.
What are you throwing David out? You replacing him or what?
I'd
Trying.
like to.
A little
I'm
mutiny.
stuck with him.
No.
No, I mean, eventually I would like to get to a show where we have Gary on more. We all work full time, well, except David. David works part time, but yeah, it's hard aligning our schedules so that everyone can be on at once. But I think it's fun. I think having more opinions on there is a good thing. So yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves. I gotta respond to an email. I can't drive it. I can't drive the conversation in this moment. So respond.
You're gonna have to, man. Hey, what's up with your guys' website? I was doing a video
the website for TMG.
Yeah, so it's
horrible.
probably not a good thing for me to say check out games at Play TMG when the website says
No,
coming
it's horrible.
soon and the last update was 2014.
I can't tell you anything other than the fact that it's horrible, but we're making it into a real website very soon. So
2 years.
no, it's just unfortunately we have our next I gotta talk to you about that too. We got our next Kickstarter coming up here at the end of August.
I already know.
Yeah, I gotta get you the super nice copy so then you can do your thing and then send it off to somebody else. So, no.
You're just gonna use me? You make me send it off?
Hey, that's a nice TMG banner you have back there.
You guys are working with Josh McDowell to do the intro for whatever this is, and he's funny how these things work out, but he lives up in Lafayette, and he is a very good friend of my neighbor. So just how those weird things work, but he shared some of that information with us, what he's working on.
Could you somehow tilt the your laptop camera so we could actually see the TMG logo somewhere there? That'd be great. Thanks.
Welcome to the TMG infomercial.
Hey, there we go. When it's all shiny, you can't see anything.
My goodness.
Very nice. What was I going to ask you? So, what? How many games did you pick up, Jeremy? Off
40.
What?
40.
40. Yeah, I think I got about 40 myself. How many have you played so far?
About 15 now.
No,
About a quarter of them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any of them stand out for you yet?
Yeah, a lot of them. I thought last Friday was spectacular, but I'm a huge fan of Whitechapel, so I don't think that's any surprise. I really like Bloodborne. I like Unfair. I think that's a really good game.
I think Unfair is very good for the take-thatty aspect of it.
Was it for sale or just for previews for media?
Kim does a really weird thing where he actually does like a really small print run before he does his full print run. So like he'll do like.
Said it was going to be on Kickstarter, so I didn't stop and look.
Yeah,
well, it's not on Kickstarter yet.
Kickstarter will be Tuesday, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, next week. No, he does like a little small print run where he does like I think it's like 100 copies, 200 copies, and then he can then look at them and then he can fix what he thinks needs to be fixed. He did the same thing with Monstrous, which was a fun little card flipping game that came out.
I played his early run of Monstrous at Origins, a couple of years ago.
Unfair is like. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a very unfair game of making a theme park.
Yeah.
So if you like Scrooge, it's a game that you'll enjoy.
Yep.
And it's got a good theme. So. Yeah.
Played through my first scenario of Mansions. That was really, really good.
Mine comes tomorrow.
I just got it today.
What else?
Mac Drizzles, I'm just going to say, Thieves Market, the shipping company, has really thrown TMG for a loop, huh? Mac Drizzle, what I know about that is that Thieves Market is there's the sheer number of copies that we have. I mean, it's just one of those things where they're getting out there, but they are getting out there, in chunks. So let me check and see if I got any new info on that while the rest of you talk.
Thieves Market? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Here I got. Oh. This is great. Great radio, guys.
It's great dead air, yes.
Great. You guys are great at talking. Yeah. So, no, and it's the same stuff I already know. So, yeah. We are very sorry about the fact that people are still waiting for their copies of Thieves Market, especially since we had copies for sale at Gen Con. But we are doing everything that we possibly can to get it out as fast and as quickly as possible. So, my humble apologies if you do not have your copy already. Oh, look, Sir Bob's in there. Hey, Sir Bob, I have your game, so don't worry if you're worried about that being broken or anything like that.
What's the status on Coliseum?
Coliseum, let me check. Hold on. Could you actually talk amongst yourselves now while I check on that, please?
Can you check on Ponzi scheme while you're at it?
Ponzi. I actually know the answer to Ponzi scheme. We are hoping for having copies at BGG Con. That's what we're hoping right now. we're waiting for the second set of proofs to come before we give the final okay on it. So, and
Are
if
you
we
going to sell those to VIGs?
They're all VIGs at BGGCon.
I don't think there are. Have you ever been to BGGCon, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
Yeah, it's cool. We have something similar here called IndieCon, and it's invite only, and it's about 150, 200 people. So it's just a larger one of those. Except you guys have vendors at yours or at BGGCon. So.
No.
I'm not
Well,
cool.
I am wearing
I'm
a
not cool
Board Game
enough to
Geek
make it to
shirt, so
IndieCon.
I can understand your confusion.
Funny. Why
I
are you
am
going
funny.
this year?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went last year. It was amazing.
Yep.
I will be there. Full show.
Did you get that room yet?
Yes. Well, no. I don't know for sure. I might be sleeping on your couch. There's a weird thing where, like, Aldi said I could room with a couple of the people, like a couple of BGG people, to which I said, why would I do that when I could just sleep in the same room as Keith and who you're rooming with, Keith?
Eric.
Who?
Eric, my quiet friend.
Oh, you're part of your entourage.
Yes.
And so why wouldn't I just stay with you two instead of I mean, not that the BGG people, I don't know them and I don't get along with them, but I mean, why wouldn't I hang out with friends, right?
Yeah.
So an entourage. How do you get an entourage?
You have one. You just invited him on here.
Yeah, your entourage is with
My
you.
entourage.
Single man.
Well, it isn't like you know what's weird is like I ran into Jonathan Gilmore once at the convention. I usually see him more often.
I saw him once.
And I think he said he had like tons of meetings, so that's probably why I didn't ever see him. But the weird thing with him is that oh man, if I shared my screen now, you could see all of TMG's secrets. You could see where all of their games are as far as the production goes. Like he did not have a badge from like Plaid Hat or Philosophia or whatever. So it was one of those things where it was like, and like I've asked him that a few times. I was like, really? They don't get you a badge? And he said, yeah, they never offer. So I just pay for it myself. I was just kind of like, what's going on there?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah, it's just kind of like you even had like a big giant release that sold a bunch of copies here at Gen Con, the Dead of Winter expansion or whatever, and yeah, just whatever. Ponzi Scheme is in production. We must have just moved it into the production. So what that means is that production lasts about 3 weeks, and so it looks like that is so. But hopefully, first week of September, it'll be done with production. It'll be loaded onto a ship, and it'll take the slow boat literally from China.
I want
get
this
here.
one.
Which one? Downfall? That is probably Gen Con next year. Most likely.
Hey, Jeremy, have you been up to Lafayette to the Ludofact plant yet?
No, but I got invited to go there.
Yeah, I got an invite too. I thought that was awesome.
David
Yeah.
went up there.
These guys were super nice.
What is this? What is this? Why don't I have an invite? What is this? What is this?
Opened a, manufacturing
Ludofact
plant
has
in
a
Indiana.
factory in Lafayette now. Two Bonacore used to do terraforming Mars. But they have a whole bunch of stuff in the pipeline right now from what he was telling me. So they just offered an invite for us to come up there and just walk through the factory. It's like an hour north of me.
I'm going to play Terraforming Mars tomorrow. I read the rules today.
Yeah,
I'll
you're
see
going to have
what
to
I
let me know.
Yeah,
I haven't played that one yet.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that I was actually fairly interested in checking out.
Did you pick up Clank?
Clank?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What's Clank?
I kid you not, it's probably the best deck builder I've ever played.
Well, that's kind of like saying that was the best case of diarrhea I've ever had.
It
Come
climbed up
on.
the hotness late and it looked like it sold out.
It's fantastic.
Thank you for the easy set. I really appreciate that. That one was very easy to spike down.
It's fantastic. It's really, really good. Surprisingly
Was that a
good.
copy of Parcheesi 2.0 you have there, Jim?
I used to have a friend just like you.
Hello, Jim Felly. I gotta ask you, how did Gen Con go for you as far as with your booth and everything else?
The booth was great. The dancers had a good time. I had tons of people constantly, but it was weird sales dynamic for Gen Con. It wasn't like the last couple of years. So
A lot of come and
socially-
check it out, and then I'll buy it online later, kind of thing, or what?
Yeah, a lot of that. A lot of people who are really interested when you came to say, so what's the deal? They said, well, we're retailers. We're going to get it from our distributors. So we'll see. I sold more than expected, but not as much as I wanted. So that's it. It was good. It was good.
We were not. We have the same location that we almost always do, but we were a little annoyed with our location, and that's mostly because IELO, which you can't do anything about, they changed their setup, so they had like a big back wall. They've never done that before. They've always just had like a real open setting for their booth, and yellow is almost always in front of us, and so since they had the big back wall, it was like there was no exposure.
Yeah, they rotated that booth like 90 degrees.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to. Michael requested. He's got whatever so many vendor points or whatever that you have for being there so many years in a row, and so he requested to actually move to a different location now, and he had picked several of the possible options or whatever.
The area did look kind of weird. It kind of looked like you were somebody's back lot.
It was weird, and I mean, we had a good convention too. It was very very successful and very very good. It was weird though. I mean, it was just like, Jim, to mirror what you were saying, there was a lot of people constantly coming over and saying, can we demo Guilds of London? Like they just wanted to demo it. They didn't wanna buy it. They would just want to demo it. And so finally, on Saturday, we broke open a box and we just kind of had it set up on a table. And we didn't really have everything out, but we did show how the game worked as far as the different mechanisms. And I did that probably, I'm guessing, a dozen times, which resulted in one sale. And everybody else was just kind of I'll wait for online.
Yeah, so I had a guy come to the booth on Friday, and he demoed Zimby, and he played probably 45 minutes with one of my people. He came back Saturday, played again for 45 minutes. Came back Sunday, played for over an hour, and then he finally bought. I'm like, it took you 3 days to figure out whether you wanted to buy a game?
Is Zimby the voodoo game?
Yeah, Cannibals.
It's Parcheesi 2.0.
I was interested. I didn't make it by the booth. I should have checked that one out.
It's actually quite fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, Jim,
I played it. We played it the other night.
I'm Jeremy. Jim. I don't think we've met before.
Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy with Man vs. Meeple. Nice to meet you.
Devious Weasel. It's a pleasure.
All
Yeah,
right.
Lance was one of the guys that said, yeah, if you give me a copy, I'll have a review out before Gen Con.
I don't think those words ever came out of my mouth.
Yeah, thanks for the introductions, Lance. You're a great host.
Yes, I am a great host. I assumed you knew. It's Jim. I assumed you knew Jim. Jim is an official Alaboomer. So, Coliseum is they are in the process of putting together our first proof copies. Panda is, and they are going to. It looks like we had some issues with a few of the counters that they sent us, and so we're waiting a PPC at this point. So what that means is we're waiting our proof copy, and then if we approve the proof copy, and so we'll get a proof copy next month maybe, and then we'll get that, and then if we approve it, which we probably won't because there's almost always something we don't like. Then we'll have to send it back and then go through the whole process until eventually. So the guess of early 2017 is probably right on the money, as far as if you are one of the people that is waiting for their copy of Colosseum.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else before I close out this window before I accidentally show it to everybody in the world? Any other questions?
Is Panda the only production?
We use it. I forget the name is. We use a different production company for anything with dice because Panda doesn't do dice very well.
Who's your contact at Panda? Is it Chris?
I believe so. Yes.
Cool.
So, but yeah. So that is. I hate saying things like this. But there is some actually pretty cool news. I'm not going to say giant news, but there is some actually pretty cool news that hopefully we'll be able to announce fairly soon about some titles that we're very excited that we have are going to be able to print and create and make and send out and make people happy next year. So we had a meeting Saturday night, which is weird. 11 o'clock meeting, 11 p.m. on Saturday at the Colts Grill, and everybody was just dead tired. But Michael went through all of the processes or whatever and what we could expect and what's coming. So there you go. I'm sorry. I wish I could be
talking about stuff for 2017, right?
Yep. And I mean, there's I'll say this: like a few beloved out of print titles will see the light of day that have been out of print for far too long.
Like War of the Ring Collector's Edition?
Yeah, that you got it.
Appreciate it. Great, man. I'll tweet that tonight.
Yeah, go ahead. No, just there's a few out of print things that definitely people have been jonesing for and wishing were in print that we're bringing back, which I'm pretty excited about. So.
Stuff that you guys have done prior, or just stuff in general?
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say one way or the other. So I'm just gonna leave that little dangling participle out there, and I'm excited to be part of it. It's one of those weird things. So, mum is the word. If you, David.
You're such a tease, Lance.
I know. I know. I hate saying things like that too. I hate that, but I don't know. It's there. There you go. So. We could get that the Taste Minstrel Games. That is actually where they got it from, the Robbins Minstrels thing, and they were forced to eat Robbins Minstrels, and there was much rejoicing. If you go and find, there's an old school logo that TMG had a long time ago. I think it was on the original box or inside the rules of Terra Prime and the first edition Homesteaders. And it actually had like Dargon, the same dragon, but there was like he was picking his teeth with a broken lute, and because he had just gotten done eating a minstrel, so you can find that. So that's what we're looking into the possibility of having a giant inflatable Dargon, kind of like the giant Pikachu butt. So we can hang over our booth. And I think that would be pretty awesome if we could get that.
Don't be that guy.
What? Don't be that guy. What do you mean? Don't be that guy.
Just steal the Pikachu and paint him green.
That would be better.
Yeah, Pikachu butt. But anyway, so
I really wanted someone to drop brown balloons out of the back of that Pikachu.
No, I had the I played Seafall the other night, and I posted our non-spoiler and spoiler videos.
Get a copy.
You walk up to them and say I'd like one, and have a relationship with Isaac Vega.
Were they demoing that, Lance?
Yeah, and they were
How
actually
does
like
the demo work with that? That's what I'm curious.
They had people asking if they could buy the demo copies, and they were like, "We've played half a game on this." I guess what they were doing was because there are rules in the book that state that like you can have people leave and come back and things like that, and they actually have rules for like having other people take over certain provinces or whatever, and what have you. And so there are, so you could theoretically just have another team demo like the next portion, if you will, and then go from there. But I don't know. It's Seafall's fun. I'll say that. Now I don't know how many legs it's got. I don't know if like the 10th play will be as fun as the first one. But right now we had a lot of fun with it.
How long did it take you to get through the first tutorial section?
The prologue, once the setup was done and everybody understood what they could do, because I had played the setup, I had played the prologue before at BGGCon, so I knew how to play. But refresh myself on the rules. I don't know. It probably took an hour and a half, but it's very quick.
Did you have 4?
I had 5.
Five? Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those. Go ahead.
Jeremy,
what else have you played from Gen Con?
Have
a good enough opinion to review it at this point.
Jeremy, did I hear you say that you played Mansions of Madness?
Yeah.
How is that?
Fantastic. But I'm a huge proponent of that game anyway, so I'm probably got a skewed opinion about it. But I can tell you this: playing with the app is so much better than playing with a keeper. For the simple fact that I can play it anytime. I mean, David played it with us, and I don't think you've never played it before, right, David?
No, I hadn't. It was great. I want to play it more. It's not my kind of game, generally speaking, but with the app.
Oh, you mean it's good?
Yeah, it created a lot of ambiance.
See what I did there? See what I did there?
Yeah, the whole experience of using that app makes me excited to see what future-based games can do with the app. Now, I played XCOM 2, and that didn't do anything for me. But this game it really embraces that keeper role, and it makes the whole game very fluid. Like,
when you say app, are you talking about a phone app?
Oh, yeah, I mean, we played it on the Mac, and then I just fed it through this TV behind me, and it was, it was pretty seamless to play.
Jim, to answer your question, it's either phone, PC, or a Mac app.
Yeah.
It could be on either one of them.
All right.
Google,
because
iOS.
The only one I played with an app that comes to mind is One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Much different style, for sure.
So it's got a good recommendation from you then, that game, because I've been thinking about getting it.
Yeah, but again, I'm very skewed. I mean, I was incredibly excited when they announced this game. I mean, I've got a long history with Mansions, and I played through every single scenario in the first game and loved it. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. I mean, David could probably give you a better opinion because he hates these style of games.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I hate them. I just haven't played a lot of them, but the app added a lot. I mean, Jeremy and I played through the first scenario, well, twice. Once we failed miserably, but then we played it immediately again. And what's great is it randomly generates a lot of the elements. So, same scenario had different rooms in different locations. Some rooms that weren't even there anymore. And not only that, but it randomized when you're encountering the enemies. Even the same enemy, Jeremy had mentioned in the old game, different enemy pieces had different rules on the bottom of them or something like this one. The app takes care of all of that so that the rolling was different depending on when you were encountering an enemy and where.
Yeah, even attacking a monster, attacking one cultist from the next one in this, we probably fought, I don't know, a half dozen cultists. And every single situation was completely different on the way they reacted and what you were rolling against them and the amount of damage that you would do against them. Some of them were just pure damage from the weapon. Some of them were damage plus the roll. I mean, it's very flavorful. So it makes me very excited because they also announced Imperial Assault app that they were working on, which You know,
So
that game
maybe
is set
that
up in
game
my
would
closet.
finally be good then. Is what
Well, yeah, I mean, it's literally set in my closet. We played one scenario,
Yeah.
Dave and I think one of our buddies, Jack, and we just haven't touched it because it's too much of a time investment to get one person to go set up the game completely, remember what happened in the last one, and it's just, I mean, even this new Mansions, you can play. There's a scenario in there that's 240 to 360 minutes. And you can quit the game halfway through, and it saves all of your progress. So you can come right back to it and pick up right where you left off.
So before we leave Mansions of Madness, if you don't use the app, is it still just a lot of die rolling you have to do?
I don't think you can not use the app.
Yeah, you have to use the app in this version.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, it is a dice fest, but there's a lot of mitigation in the game by using clue tokens and searching. And I mean, typically I don't like those style of things either. I used to be a huge Ameritrash person, and I've shied away from that recently. But if a game has some sort of mitigation in it, and this game has a lot of it, it draws me back in and makes me want to play it. So this one has quite a bit.
So you said that the game kept track of the combat and changed it up. Do you have to manually punch in like what you rolled each time, or?
Yeah, you're okay. So you walk into a room, a monster appears. You tell the app what kind of weapon you're using. All the weapons are like heavy bladed, fist range spells. You tell it what you're using, and then this says, you know, the creature comes up behind you, does something. Roll for perception or roll for strength, and you roll it, and then it tells you what you need to hit. You look at your dice. You do any modifications with the weapons you have. You plug that into the app, and it does all the figuring for you. I mean, it may sound like it's a lot, but that whole process literally takes 10 seconds.
Yeah, the key to it is that it prompts you the entire time. So
Yeah.
there's never a moment where you're wondering, like, well, am I supposed to put this in somewhere? It literally says right on screen, do this, do this. The only thing, there's a little bit of upkeep. You know, you have to basically, you roll the dice, and then if you did 3 damage, you basically click, 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 and add 3 damage to that monster. But then that monster always saves that damage, so you go back to it, and once you do all the damage, it's gone. So it's incredibly streamlined. I have to say, I would have never bought that, but after playing it once with Jeremy, I'm even considering buying it.
Yeah, the puzzle aspect of it is really great too. I mean, they've added the puzzles back in the game, but they're all done on the app, so you're basically doing, you know, cross patterns or glyph patterns on the screen. And again, it saves it. Yeah, I mean, just like in the previous game, when you left a physical puzzle on the table, another investigator can come do it. Same thing in the app. If you have 3 moves to do a puzzle and you can't complete it, when another investigator or you come back to it in a later turn, you can just start from that location. It's pretty ingenious.
Right. So then, just so I'm clear, then this is not an app that facilitates play. This is actually an integral part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it.
Yep.
Now, have you used the kit that came with the game? They used the original edition with it, or no?
Yeah, I have. I don't have the 2 expansions. I just have the base first edition set, and then a lot of those little plastic print-on-demand ones.
Right.
You just go into the app and you basically tell it which packages you have, and then it gives you all these little cards that fit into your old monsters, and then those are completely compatible. So when we went into the first mansion that we played in, it knew that not only did we have the new 8 to 10 monsters are in this pack, but we also had the 12 that were in the old one. So what pops up is just completely random from game to game.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I bought it unseen. This is the original version is what kept Gen in the hobby for us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were saying, we have all the expansions on it. I actually thought they were done with the IP. I thought it was dead. You know, I was really surprised when I heard last week or the week before that this one came out.
I mean, if they do this with Imperial Assault, which they announced, I haven't played that game since the base set. I'm going to have to go out and buy all the expansions at this point, just because it's, I mean, number one, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but if they integrate it in the same way, this is the kind of game that I would play solo. If David wasn't there playing with me, I mean, I'd sit here and set it all up and play it myself. I have no problem doing that just because the experience is so enjoyable.
That's a marked difference, man. I remember back in the day, you said that you don't like playing board games solo. Like you said that.
A couple here and there, but yeah, you're right. I mean, if I'm going to play a solo game, I'd probably rather play a video game.
Yeah, boot up the PC and and fight against some hordes of zombies or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
that is strong praise from you, Jeremy.
I mean, even the voice acting in the game, when you hear the talk, I mean, you can go meet like in the first mission, you meet the butler and he's talking, and the voiceovers are professional grade voiceovers. I mean, they sound convincing, like real. They got real actors to fill these parts, so it's cool.
I think one last big thing is the app. The way it works now, and I never played the original, but I have to imagine the feeling of exploration is multiplied by 100 with this one, because you don't have the whole map out on the board. You just have your one tile out, and then when you explore through a door, it shows you what room to add. And like I said, it's random, so it might add a different room. That sense of exploration couldn't have existed originally.
Mm-hmm. The original version, the setup was just a monster. It was
right.
Yeah, I mean, in the original version, the keeper would have the entire table filled with all of the mansion tiles, and then every search clue was out there, every card was out there in specific locations. So people could say, oh, 5 rooms away, there's a card that we probably need to go uncover. In this, you have no idea. You walk into a room, and your line of sight is that room. There are doors that you can open, which open up new rooms, like David said, but there's also lines of sight. So the first place we were in had this long hallway, but if you went to the end of the hallway, you could see into another area. So as soon as you went in there, you click this icon, and then a whole other hallway opened up, and then monsters would appear, right in that corner. So you're right. That whole sense of exploration is huge in this. It's a blast. I mean, the game is a blast.
So you like it then, is what you're trying to say? Or?
Yeah, it's all right.
I mean...
Yeah, I mean, if I had the money, I'd go and buy the expansions, but the aftermarket prices are... I mean, they're fetching $200.
Oh, aren't they gonna redo the expansions?
It sounds like it.
They probably will.
Yeah, I don't know.
I forget who we were talking to, but they chose to neither confirm or deny.
Well, let me see. Would they make money if they made them?
Yeah, it's Fantasy Flight. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope First Martian does as good a job as you're saying this one does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that'll be good. Good for them. And, I mean, FFG really hasn't, I don't know, they haven't come up with anything that really has excited me in a long time, so... hopefully, I picked it up, so hopefully I'll enjoy it. I don't know though. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm pretty sure it'll be cool. I'm too jonesing for playing Seafall again tomorrow, so
wow,
get the next one done. Well, 2 of the guys that are going to be in the group, they're going on. Both of them are going on vacation the next week, so I need to bang out another session of it tomorrow because I won't be able to play it again next week. So, but yeah, there you go. But Seafall did live up to my expectations, which I was worried it wouldn't do. So.
Did you get the metal coins already?
No, but whatever. Who needs metal coins? I've got hundreds of metal coins, and plus that's just. I mean, it'd be one thing. Well, then again, who knows? Maybe the coins will matter a great deal more in the future, for all I know. I mean, that's one of the weird things about legacy games, right? You never know. You don't know when you open up that box, what it's going to teach you or whatever. But the thing about it is, it's like. The metal coins. I mean, the money right now, it's like used to purchase your advisors. Because on your turn, I don't know if you guys know how the game plays, but basically, without any spoilers, on your turn, well, basically you flip over an event card, and that's the event that's going to affect everybody for that turn of the game. So it's like, whatever, smooth sailing, so everybody can move 1 extra space when they sail or something like that. And then, so you have that effect, and then the next thing you do is you hire an advisor, and there's like this group of advisors that basically are cards, and all of them have a special power or an ability or a bonus to dice or whatever, and they have a price that either you trade in a fame token, which is like you just have some at the very beginning, depending upon your leader and their abilities and what have you. You can earn others through adventures and what have you. So they have a fame token cost, or they have a money cost, and that's the only time I've ever really had anything that you're using money for. I mean, other than buying goods that you can later sell. So the metal coins, it's like, yeah, they probably look really cool, but as far as them being really important, I don't see the point right now. Especially since also you're supposed to put the coins that you earn into your, because each person gets a province gets a little cardboard box. You've seen them, Jeremy. So each person has that, and then you're supposed to put everything in there and put away in the box. So when you start the next turn or next thing, you have all your money, you have all your stuff. So I guess technically you do use money to purchase upgrades to your province or to your ships as well. So I don't know. I mean, and the game is just then going out to these little islands and investigating them and attacking them, and then theoretically after the first little thing, then you're free to attack and raid each other and try to blow each other up and also investigate and what have you. So I'm excited just because I've already sworn I've sworn to destroy my friend Craig for the rest of the game. So
Nice.
yeah, I just said I'm going to destroy you this entire game, and then we'll see what happens.
Have you ran into combat yet, or is it too early?
Well, it's you do raiding, which is just dice. I mean, the rules for the combat are in there. You have a certain number of dice, and the dice have 2 blank spots on them, and the rest of them either have a weak success, a normal success, or a strong success. And if it's just a normal thing, any of those successes count. But if it's a situation where it's like there's an island at the very beginning that if you roll a weak success, you have to re-roll the die. So if you roll it, then maybe you have to you could possibly get a fail. And then there's another, a thing you can get, a strong success counts as 2 successes or something like that. So you just roll the dice, and so if you're raiding on an island, you look at the defense the island has, and that's the number that you have to meet or exceed to take no damage. So you roll the dice, you compare, and then you then just if you take damage, like the ship that's there that was doing the raiding, you have to draw damage cards, and those can be things like torn sails, so you move slow, or leaky hulls, so you don't have as much room to carry your goods or whatever. And then you can repair those on later turns. It's more of just a slow down mechanism. You can get your ship sunk if they take too much damage. If they have 2 damage cards and you're forced to draw another one, they sink. But you can just go back and do a repair function. You just get a new boat. So the one thing about it is that it's like that whole repairing. It just seems like that is just like what everybody else is doing something fun, like raiding something and stealing gold, or blowing up a shipyard or something like that, or doing an exploration, which is actually reading the choose your own adventure thing. You're stuck going back and spending some time to fix everything so you can go out the next turn, which just seems to be kind of like the penalty, if you will, for not rolling well or having a bad turn or whatever. So I don't know. The very first prologue, the way it does is there's these 4 prologue cards, and you get through those pretty quickly, and then the prologue is done. And then you're going to go into the real story, and it fits perfectly. And the way it works is that everybody has there's a scoring track basically, and then there's a target number in the scoring track, and everybody kind of races to be the first person, because if you can get to be the first person that hits the top score, that part of the story is done. The person who succeeds at doing that gets a special ability or power or upgrade that carries over to the next session. So everybody's kind of racing to get to that mark. And then there's, of course, a storyline that will be divulged as you race towards that. So I'm excited to see how that works.
So is most of the resolution in the game then using dice?
Most of it is dice. I mean, anything that is happenstance. If it's an exploration, it is a it's a choose your own adventure type of thing where it'll say, I'm not going to say anything about any of them, but it'll be like, it'll just say, do you do X? Turn to number 83 and read that, or do you do Y? Turn to 107 and read that. And depending upon your decision.
My favorite.
What?
Said my favorite.
It tells a story, and it actually is kind of cool. So if you don't like that, then you're not going to like that. I mean, but I think it's
I don't know.
fun.
I don't know what my problem is. I can't get past games like that for some reason, and it's so weird saying that because Mansions has some of that, but it's. I don't know. When I saw that,
well,
book
it's a theme that you dig.
I freaked out. It's like 450 450 entries or something like that.
Yeah, around that, I guess. Yeah, and plus there's extra things in there that are put in there as so if somebody wanted to actually read through the spots, there's red herrings, like there's storylines that don't actually exist, or at least that's what Rob Daviau told me when I played it at BGG-Con, that he had
You
written.
could go on like a wild goose chase for.
Yeah, so like if somebody wanted
cool.
to cheat and like read through and try to find something else, like, oh, I wonder what happens here, there's stuff in there you'll never encounter. It's just put in there just to make you think that there's a storyline with that. If you remember the old, it was a game for computers, Road War 2000 had a narrative book like that, where Road War 2000 was basically a Mad Max game where you were trying to find a cure for this disease that was destroying the world. And you would go to certain spots, and it would say, read entry 73, and you'd go through the book, and you'd read entry 73, and it would tell you exactly what happens. But that book that had a storyline within it that if you actually read straight through the book, trying to find out what happened, it had to do with aliens and the space shuttle and all this other crazy stuff that had nothing to do with anything, but just to throw people off, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah. So there you go. Road War 2000. I haven't thought about that game in ages. That was a fun game.
So what else did you play there that stood out?
Well, Kabuki Kid. I knew you'd know Road War 2000. I mean, some of the small stuff that everybody played and thought was cool. I thought Three Wishes was okay. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I need to play this a million times and throw a love letter out the window. It was okay. It was interesting. I got in a play of there was a copy floating around of I can't even think of the name of it now. What is it? Sons of Odin? Is that what it was from NSCAN?
Feast?
It was on
Feast of Odin.
what?
What was it? Feast of Odin?
No, it was something Odin. I forget what the name is. But I got in a play of that, and that was okay. I mean, I backed it on Kickstarter and actually just showed up today. I can't remember the name of it though. Weird Euro about Vikings, but of course, I had to buy anything with Vikings in it.
In the name of Odin.
In the name of Odin, thank you. And yes, Road War 2000 did come out around the same time as Origins Auto Duel, which was an excellent game as well. What else did I play? I played Cry Havoc, but I'm waiting for my copy. But I knew I liked it, so I wasn't stunned or anything like that. I got to demo Adrenaline, which I think is going to be in the running for me for one of the games of the year. It'll be in my top 10 for sure.
I saw it being played. I didn't sit down and try it though. Was it in the room with Paul?
Yeah,
Paul Hogan showing off, yeah.
yeah. That if you go to BGG Con, he's gonna have a full press copy there,
Cool.
and yeah, that is a first person shooter replication. I mean, and it's just flat out fun.
Mm-hmm.
So very, 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 very good. No, I did not watch the Preacher finale. I'm way behind on that one, Kabuki. But thanks for asking. I'm Chris Schrader. Just mentioned the Gold Box Pool of Radiance on Commodore 64. Yes, great game. I love old school. Do you ever like go and like I don't know if I'm the only person who does, but like I have a Commodore 64 emulator on my PC, and I will like play the old ROMs. I'll play like the old Pool of Radiance and stuff on my PC, just because I wanna like remember being in junior high and racing home to play those games all day long. Used to love that stuff.
Hills Far, Pools of Radiance.
Yeah,
Was it
Hillsfar.
Yeah,
What was the
great.
one that was the
Curse of the Azure Bonds. Did
Oh,
you-
Curse of the
yeah.
Azure Bonds? Oh,
That's
that was a good one
fantastic.
too. You know, before they, and then of course, obviously, those things led to like Bard's Gate and stuff like that, which were really good as well.
Mhm.
Classic PC games, whatever.
Mhm.
To this day, one of my favorite times is pulling out the old Nintendo and playing the original version of Zelda. There's just something about it.
Yeah,
Triggers.
I can see that. The weird thing is, okay, one thing, and I've said this, I'm going to say this again. Years and years and years ago, when I was young, I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, and my dad got remarried after my parents got divorced. He got remarried, and we went to go visit my dad's new wife's family in Belfour, North Dakota. And, you know, I mean, I can't remember this game to save my life. But her brother, my dad's wife's brother, had, I think it was a VIC 20. I'm not positive. It was either a VIC. It wasn't a Commodore 64. It was either like a VIC 20 or a TRS 80 or something like that. And there was a game that he had that he actually had a tape drive of all things that like so that he had an adventure game, like a go into the dungeon and find the monsters and beat them and leave game. And I remember like being so bored out of my mind. I was at this farm in the middle of nowhere, and he showed this to me. And I remember like to load it, of course, on whatever computer that he had. You had to like in the tape, you had to push play, and then it took like whatever it was 15 minutes for like for it to play the tape, so it could take all the information to load the game. So I remember being so mad, like doing that, waiting, finally putting it up, and I remember it was like in the premise of this old computer game was that the king had been kidnapped. And you could tell them how big you wanted the dungeon to be. Like the dungeon could be like it was like 1 to 4 levels or 1 to 5 levels or whatever. And you had a certain amount of time to go into the dungeon and find the king and bring him out. But he was in an airtight chamber, so if you didn't get to him fast enough, he would suffocate and die. And for the life of me, I have asked that to like 1,000 people if they know.
What did it look like?
I mean, I can vaguely remember. The only thing I really remember about it was like you made your little party of adventurers and you went in. It was very wizardry-esque, you know, very like moving around the dungeon kind of thing.
Like kind of in first person?
Yeah, maybe. But I remember the one thing about it was if you had a choice between either like the actual was tactical combat. I remember because you would actually like click on the things that you wanted to attack, and the other thing that I thought was cool was like because you when you walked into a room, like you'd have your 4 adventurers, and if you entered a room, like your 2 adventurers would be in the front and the 2 adventurers would be in the back, but they wouldn't be able to get in. and I was playing this, and it was very frustrating because it was tactical. You'd move your people around the board or around the screen, and then my dad's wife's brother was watching me play. He's like, "You realize if you hit K to kick the door in, all 4 of your people will be in the room." So and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's perfect." And the other thing now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I'm remembering correctly or not, but if you used missile weapons, like the little dot or whatever for the arrow or the sling or whatever you were shooting, if it went through one of your teammates, you could actually hit your teammate, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've asked that question. I've Googled everything I possibly can think of. I wish I remember what the game that was. Even if I could never play it again, I want to know that I'm not dreaming that game up. Because I remember sitting there, and I remember it was so tough to beat, and we were leaving to go back home, and I realized I was probably never going to play it again, and so I cheated, and I made it the dungeon only 1 level, so it was easy to find the king and then get him out, because there was there's only 1 level to the dungeon, and he was easy to find. But perhaps that game will just be lost in my memory. Maybe there was only 1 copy of the game ever. So yeah. And Dragon Wars from Interplay, Kyle, was a fantastic game. Great game. So, but there you go. That was a walk down memory lane. I can't remember that to save my life. Dang it. Now I'm gonna spend a half hour Googling everything I possibly can think of again tonight.
You've already got me doing it.
Yeah, I seriously can't remember it. But yeah, Zork 3, which had he's talking about the Zorks. Zork 2 was Zork 1 was awesome, and I actually beat Zork 1 without having any walkthrough, which I was very proud of. I did use a walkthrough just to get the best top score possible, or whatever, with that one. But Dungeons of Daggerath, I have no idea. I'll have to Google Dungeons of Daggerath. Dungeons of Daggerath does not. No, because I don't. Well, I'll have to look at this. I'll look at the picture. But what was I just talking about before I started thinking of Dungeons of Daggerath? No, yeah, nobody. Okay. No, I don't think this is it. I'm reading about it. Nah. Player moves around dungeon. Yeah, it's because it's a group of you, not just one person. So good guess though. There's definitely lots of those old school games out there like that. What was I talking about before I talked about Dungeons and Daggerath? I lost track of my conversation. Barry, what was I talking about?
A game that nobody heard of that you're looking for from the reviews.
Funny man. No idea. What are you drinking there, Jeremy? Coke Zero.
Mm-hmm.
You and my wife. She loves the Coke Zero. If I only drank soda when I was eating food, I could drink diet soda.
What do you normally drink? Coke?
Coke or Dr. Pepper.
Mm.
Oh yeah, the Zorks. So Zork 1 was fun just because it was a bunch of cool rooms with little things. But Zork 3 had Zork 1 had the evil maze where you could get lost and eventually your lantern would run out of light and the grooves would get you. Zork 3 was had the most impossible puzzle at the very end. You had to have the walkthrough. I don't think anybody could have beaten the weird puzzle in Zork 3, where you had to manipulate all these different walls and buttons and push these things to basically move the different spots in the room, and so you could position a ladder perfectly underneath a trapdoor so you could climb out of this weird maze. It was Floyd the droid. It's like a sad moment. There's a game called Planetfall where you had this droid named
Oh,
Floyd
yeah.
that followed you around, and to beat the game you have to kill him. Spoilers.
I was
Spoilers.
just about to finish that.
And Infocom had a game called Deadline, which was a murder mystery, which was very difficult to beat. And yeah,
Oh wow, you're really going down memory lane.
yeah, Deadline was you had to you had to play it multiple times to finally figure it out. But that had a ton of weird things that just like you had to be in the right place at the right time so you could see somebody doing the thing, and and just it was difficult. But I remember beating that one too. Good stuff. The one game I remember mostly playing on my Commodore 64 over anything else was Bard's-Tale. I remember being so excited to play Bard's-Tale, like racing home from school, just with the idea of being able to load it up and play it and run off into the dungeons again. Great memories. Do 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 do.
You ever play any of the graphic adventure games, Lance, like Monkey Island or?
I played Monkey Island, which I thought was really good. What was the other one? I remember the Leisure Suit Larrys were fun just for the ridiculousness of them.
Yeah. Like King's Quest and stuff like that.
I didn't play like the first King's Quest, but I remember I played some of the later ones. Trying to remember. What was the one? Was that Monkey Island with death in it?
Death?
What?
No, Grim Fandango.
Grim Fandango. There you go. Grim Fandango. That was a good one too.
Yeah, that's a good one. Grim Fandango and Full Throttle was also good.
Yes. Hold on one second. Talk amongst yourselves.
What do you guys think about Lance?
Ah!
Did a nut job.
I am a nut job.
Try not to.
Aw.
So I heard a few of you guys say that, pretty much everything you've seen at Gen Con you waited to, order online at a discount. Did you feel a lot of that was going on?
I don't know. I mean, based on the sales of a lot of the games, I wouldn't say it was going on too much. I got most of what I wanted at the show, which wasn't too much, but
If you looked at the people walking around Gen Con, there were not as many people carrying bags as usual. You see people walking around carrying bags of stuff. There were a lot of people just walking through, checking stuff out, and not purchasing this year.
Lance, did you have a better Origins? TMG, did they have a better Origins than Gen Con?
Oh, if you're going to go... well, it's kind of an unfair question because just the sheer number of people. So,
Well, you mentioned something about, people were just wanting you to demo the game.
The problem was that there was... everybody knew that if they waited a few weeks, they'd be able to get... or they could get their copy of...
Guilds,
in a couple weeks, if they just pre-ordered it. So I think that was one of those things where it was like, I don't have to get it right now. We
Did that
sold...
not sell out for you?
I think we still had like 10, 15 copies at the very end. Which, whatever, no big deal. It was one of those things too where at Origins it was like when we had the 100 copies or whatever, it was like that was way before anybody could ever get a hold of it. So people were just like, and it had a lot of buzz because it had sold out in the UK, IG UK. when there. So I mean, it had a huge buzz, and maybe the buzz ran out a little bit. You know, I
Well,
mean,
you guys didn't have any competition either, really. I mean, there wasn't much for sale at Origins compared to what
yeah,
Gen
that's
Con list
true.
is.
I mean, Royals was there, but I mean that Royals had been out before, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, so it was just it's one of those things where catching lightning in a bottle is difficult, and it's difficult to hold on to it as well. I've said, if you hate to manufacture a want, but I mean, in my meeting, I basically said, I mean, we should I said we should actively try to make sure that we have, because I told Michael, I said I realize there's things that like you can't plan for, but I mean, if we had Invasion and Ponzi Scheme at Gen Con ready to go, along with guilds, I mean, and Thieves Market for that matter, I mean, it would have killed. I mean, we would have had people tracking us down. So I flat out said, we should make it a point that like we will have stuff at Gen Con. We will release stuff at Gen Con that like have like 3-4 titles that you're not gonna be able to get these for like a month, that kind of thing. But I don't know. But then again, why? I mean, but see that kind of that's weird, because it's like I kind of pushed for that, and then I got kind of shouted down a little bit because they said we don't want to be that company. We don't want to be somebody that like that's thinking of like a bottom line. We want to be the company that just people want to think of us as just the people that are trying to make games that people are going to like, and and keep fostering that, which I can agree with, and maybe I should keep my nefarious ideas to myself.
But it's funny you mention it that way, though, because did you ever play a game, like an online game, and some punk you don't know tells you don't know how to play your character, you should be doing this and doing that and optimizing? And it's quite irritating. And I have people coming up to me telling me, well, you should be doing this, that, and the other thing in order to maximize your dollars and maximize your profits. And yeah, that's probably true, but I don't want to be that company. I want to be the company that people always trust. They know they get great customer service, and they know that when I charge a price, it's a fair price. And I think that people are used to getting screwed, and I want to be a breath of fresh air. So I know exactly where those guys are coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe I'm just the jerk then, I guess.
Well, I think there's a fundamental problem with just Gen Con in general. I think publishers are bringing too few games for some of the bigger stuff. I mean, I can tell you, I was super frustrated with Seafall. I mean, I think I think that sets a very bad precedent when a company as big as Plaid Hat, with as big as reach as what Seafall has, is only selling games to VIGs who can spend $500+. I mean, that's basically saying, hey, the rich kids can buy the game, but everyone else that can't afford it can't.
Well,
And
you're right.
There's a lot of big games that came out at Gen Con that had 100 copies or 50 copies, which promotes mass disaster. I mean, it's ridiculous. If a publisher knows they're going to bring it, either don't bring it or bring enough copies to satisfy the audience.
Well, but you got a copy, didn't you get a copy?
Oh, one at a time.
Okay, but you got a copy, didn't you, Jeremy? You got a copy of Seafall.
No.
Didn't you do an unboxing video for it or something?
I did. It wasn't my copy.
It was a friend's.
Ah.
And just to make it apparent, I'm not mad that I don't have a copy. That's not the point. The point is they're the only company that sold directly to VIGs, which had no point in doing that.
That's not true. A lot that opening day. I was
there for 3 days, Lance. I was there since Monday, and
well,
not
okay,
a
but
company said, "Hey, we're not going to sell to you guys. We're only going to sell to VIGs." No one else said that.
No, but I encountered many people, many booths that said, like, especially on that Thursday morning, where they said, we're not. They're like, we're only selling to the VIGs for that first hour. I mean, even they said like they were like they weren't going to sell to exhibitors. They weren't going to sell to press.
Okay, I understand that point, but why only bring enough product for people that can afford that badge?
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, you must know a VIG person then, I take it? I mean, that that you use their copy. Well, it doesn't matter. Who cares? So, you know, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, how many copies does each person buy is what I'm wondering. And did they only have 100 copies? I mean, I heard that they were going to have, you know, I heard it was several hundred copies is what they had. So
there was a company there, I don't remember who it was, that had some game where they said they would only sell like 30 copies one day, 30 copies the next day, 50 copies the next day.
well, there's a few of them did that, but I know that like the Harry Potter game was like that.
You know, last Friday was that like that.
Oh yeah, a ton of them. Oceanos.
Oceanos was one.
That was it, Oceanos.
Yeah, they have very few of those. I think it was like 30, 30, and 50 or something, like you said.
But that rationing of those games drives the crowd to seek those games, and then they often diminish their spending the rest of the day because they've made a big purchase in the morning, or they don't make a purchase during the other day because they're waiting for their next chance, like a lottery ticket. So that kind of false rationing does have a great effect on people's expenditures on other games that aren't their primary target.
But what I'm thinking about, I mean, I'm not thinking about it from my point of view. I can walk in there and say, hey, I do a video review show. It's extremely popular. Can I either get a game to review or can I buy a game? And most publishers will say, yeah, we know who you are. We'll give you a game. Or, yeah, we only brought 100 copies. You can buy a game. My problem is with the people that drive halfway across the United States for this one event, and they get there and they find out, oh, well, I don't have the means to, number one, to buy a game. Number two, the 3 games that I wanted are sold out before I even get into the convention hall. It's kind of a crappy way to treat the audience that wants to buy board games. And that's, I mean, that's across the board with a lot of these big games. If a publisher knows that, hey, well, for instance, this is a good example. Ignacy from Portal sets up a pre-order. So he knows that people have the option of pre-ordering that game. More companies should do that. So number one, they don't have to haul 1,000 copies of a game to Gen Con and have the option of not selling it. And two, they're gauging their audience to see how much true interest there is and how much they need to air freight in there. I don't know why companies like, who said we don't do that? There was a company that very specifically said, hey, we don't pre-sell and we never will pre-sell. I can't remember who said that. Do you guys have any idea who it was?
Well, I know we don't. TMG doesn't do pre-orders. And
why? I mean, what's the rationale behind that? Why wouldn't you?
I you know, I'm not. That isn't my decision, but I can tell you right now, Michael's mentality is, you know, one. Okay, you do a pre-sale, then you got a giant list, you got to figure out who's on it and who's not on it, and like make sure that they get the thing and everything. Then if you end up sitting on copies, you're just like, people can see them, they're like, what about that copy back there? And it's just like, well, no. And so it's an added, his mentality is the game's going to sell anyway, right? If it's hot and he's got 200 copies, they're going to sell. So he's not going to go through the extra effort on his end to, you know, to facilitate a sale
Again, Lance, I'm not thinking about you guys as publishers, and I don't mean that in a negative or a mean way. I'm thinking about the customer. I'm thinking about you reaching out to your customers and saying, we have this program that is built for you guys so you don't have the anxiety or the need to run in here and grab it. You know that when you pay $800 for a flight, plus hotel room, plus staying here for 4 days, you have the option of getting this game that you really want from us. It's not a reach for you guys, it's a reach for your customers.
And my response to that is that the vast majority of TMG's customers, or any customers, aren't going to be at that convention. And so some people will do it, and they'll say, yeah, we'll go ahead and process this, and we'll do it. Look at Check Games. What did they do? They basically said, you don't even have to give us money. Just give us your name, and we'll put the game aside. And it'll be in this room. Come in and get it at your leisure. And you can do that, definitely. But the percentage of people that are at that convention is very, 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 very small as compared to the other people that purchase games from you. So I'm sure, I can't speak for every company, but I'm sure it's just one of those things where it's like, it is an unneeded hassle. yes, it is a very, very nice thing to do for people, but most companies just don't do it because of the fact they don't have to.
I'd also say that just from this isn't great for the customer, but from a promotional standpoint, when you take a look at what they did with Codename Pictures, no one was talking about that. Not that they would have, but part of the reason that I think companies do some of that sort of thing, they want to create some of that fervor and excitement around their games, which I know, like I said.
Well, they did. I mean, look at Cry Havoc once again. It was #1 on the list, and they had a pre-order. I mean, that's they are creating buzz, but they're also allowing the customer to buy the game. The reason why Codenames wasn't getting buzz is because it was the third iteration of a game that's already been out forever. I mean, they released that adult one a week before. I mean, there's not going to be any inherent buzz for the game anyway.
I see your point on Cry Havoc. I just think there's the psychology of making it hard to get always creates a little bit more attention for something like that. I would say regarding Seafall, I think the big mistake there is that they should have parsed it out over the days. I think no one would have a huge problem if they did at least that. I mean, I agree with you, Jeremy. I'd like them to all do pre-orders, but I'm surprised that they just sold everything they had before 10 a.m. on Thursday, and they didn't have any more for the rest of the week. That seems a little crazy to me.
That's how Flathead always
Well,
did it, though.
and you got to remember is Gen Con loves their VIGs. I mean, they do. Because these people are just handing them money so they can have a room with beanbags in it. And free sodas. I mean, seriously. I mean, that's what it is. It's a place where, they get their own very, very nice, spacious, personal gaming area that is filled with comfortable chairs and beanbags and tables and free drinks and snacks. And like you said, you got to pay $500 to get in there. And that's above everything else. You're handing them You're basically handing them $125 a day to have this room. I don't know if you've ever seen that VIG room, but it's kind of ridiculous.
In there.
The VIG tickets are almost sold out. They sell out seconds after.
Oh, there is a waiting list actually for them.
Yeah.
You have to get on a wait list right now.
You're better off just making friends with the publisher. Honestly, you don't get the room, but
again, I mean that's fine for someone like myself who can just get a advanced copy or whatnot. I'm talking about the general public, the people that pay to be there and drive great distances or fly across the world to be at Gen Con don't have the opportunity that someone who's spending more money does. So that's all I'm saying is I just don't think the system is fair. And I think that some of the publishers need to re-gauge the way that they handle their distribution of games at Gen Con.
Kyle in the chat put it perfectly. He said that going to Gen Con, the purpose of Gen Con is, what did he say? If you're going to Gen Con for an early purchase of some game, I'd argue that you're going to Gen Con for the wrong reason. That's not what Gen Con is for. Well, for you, Kyle. I mean, that's
true. I mean, they did a poll on I've seen many polls prior to Gen Con, and the #1 reason why people go is that exhibit hall. I mean, it's always the case. I mean, it may not be the way for people in the industry, but for gamers, the majority isn't to go to play games or to demo games. It's to go to the exhibit hall and buy games.
And the thing is, the exhibit hall in and of itself is just fun. I mean, the one thing that I was disappointed with this year, because I worked it, was that I had one day that I could basically there was nothing expected of me that day from TMG, so I can walk the exhibit hall, and I stupidly scheduled like 3 different meetings with people, and I would have much rather just gotten up at 8 o'clock, had breakfast with my wife, walked in there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and just started wandering and just seeing what I found. And because that is the most fun thing to do at Gen Con, in my opinion. It's just to wander that dealer hall and find those weird little games that like you never heard of before, and demo stuff, and goof around, run into people that you know, shoot the crap with publishers, that kind of thing. And that for me is what I find really enjoyable. So I don't know. It for me, like even when I was getting there, it's like I got a little bit of the I really gotta get that game, but I really like the games that I really wanted, the 4 or 5 that I wanted to find. Like I got them. I didn't get, and the thing was I had no intention. The one game that I thought for sure I wasn't gonna be able to get a hold of was that Harry Potter game, but I didn't have any interest in it at all. But my wife is a big Harry Potter fan. She saw it. She's like, I really want that. And I made sure I got up and I went to that line, and they were like, yeah, we don't. I mean, I'll say this: that the USAopoly people are just. I mean, I don't want to say. I don't want to say like a bad things, but they just they don't. I don't think they really truly grasp as far as like the designer board game era of things, that kind of thing. It's like they don't really. I don't think they understand that base yet, because they've just they're USAopoly. They just aren't at that point. They haven't been making designer board games for a while. I mean, because it was like, man, I must have talked to like 3 or 4 people. I told several of them, look, I said I'm not looking for a free copy of a game. It's like I've been making video reviews of board games for nearly a decade. It's like, here's my website. You can see this. I'll pay you for it. Can you just hold a copy for me? And then like I got the runaround for 3 or 4 people for like 2 days, and I finally was just like, I'm just gonna walk over there at 9 o'clock, and I'm just gonna stand in line. I'm gonna stand in line for an hour, and as soon as they're for sale, I'm just gonna buy one. And the thing is that the people started lining up, and that was the weird thing too. They said that they weren't going to sell to any exhibitors, but I had my press badge, so it was fine. There are now, before it was one of those weird things where it was like you didn't run into people like last year even. Like it was all exhibitors trying to get into certain lines for certain things and everything like that, and they were getting pushed away or shoved back or whatever. But there were a ton of people that were in the same boat as me, that they were press people, but they also had exhibitors badges. So they were getting in line, and there was a lot of people, and there was like there was people that I was like I didn't understand how they were even in the dealer hall at that point. I didn't, but whatever, it didn't matter. But there were, by the time 10 o'clock rolled around on Friday morning, when I got it, there were like 100 people in line before the doors even opened, and they were selling like 40 copies a day. And I was just like, and I was looking at these people, and I was like, what? And then bam, the doors opened, and people just ran for it. I mean, that was like the craziest thing I'd seen in a while, as far as like for the Harry Potter deck building game, which I haven't even opened up. Don't even know if it's any good. But there were people trying to scam into the line. They were trying to budgies, and people were screaming and yelling at each other. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. And everybody walking in had no shot at all getting a copy.
Does that game have like is there like a campaign system in that I heard about? Or am I totally...
You are honestly asking the wrong guy. Because my wife is just like the biggest Harry Potter... It's the one thing she admits to being nerdy about. And when she saw there was a game for it, she was like, I have to own that. So
I thought there was like a legacy system built into that. Maybe I'm wrong, but someone told me that like each iteration of the game, when it comes out, expansions lets you build on what you currently have. Like there's different modules and stuff.
I did demo Game of Thrones Iron Throne, and that was amazing. And that game can't come out soon enough.
Where did that come from?
I was just thinking about games like that like I played. Sorry.
Who likes Coca-Cola versus Pepsi?
Nobody likes Pepsi. That's the standard question. I always love that when people are like, "Is Pepsi okay?" When has it ever been okay? When I just
No. The answer to that question is yes. Pepsi's okay. Coke is good though.
No, because like This is what it's like. Yeah, I'll have a Coke. Pepsi, okay? Do you have Dr. Pepper? No. Give me a water. You know, just like that's and the thing is that and that's that I think that should be a law that if you don't have Coke, you have to have Dr. Pepper. I mean that should be a law. I should be able to have you arrested if you don't have Dr. Pepper as an option. And you know what's better than Dr. Pepper though, which I will take over Coke in any
Triple X root
situation.
beer.
Big
No.
Red.
No, Pib Extra, because
Oh,
Pib Extra
yeah.
tastes better than Dr. Pepper. It is a better tasting beverage, and anybody who tells you differently is lying.
Wow, you're really making a stand.
Have you
Yes.
heard of Triple X root beer?
I've heard of Triple X root beer, but who cares? No,
Dude,
when we went to Colt's Grill, then I went in there. And I was like, I'll have a Coke, and then I ordered a Coke, and they had it. I was like, oh, that's nice. And then somebody said, do you have Dr. Pepper? And they said, well, no, we have Mr. Pibb, which is a lie because Mr. Pibb doesn't exist anymore. Pib Extra exists, not a Mr. Pibb. But she said, no, we have Mr. Pibb. And I said, I'm sorry, do you have Pib Extra? And she says, yes. I was like, I don't want Coke. I want a Pib Extra. And then everybody in there who's like, there's like 2 or 3 guys at TMG who say Dr. Pepper is like the bomb, yo, which I agree. Dr. Pepper is quite the good drink. But I was like, you guys are insane. Because they were like, ugh, Pib Extra. Ugh, it tastes like garbage. I was like, you are idiots. I can't be friends with you anymore. And I actually I was like, and she brought me my first glass, and I drank it all in like about 30 seconds because I was like tired and I needed the caffeine. And then she said, I'll bring you a pitcher. And I just said, and you might as well just take this glass because I'll be drinking straight out of the pitcher for the rest of the evening. It was so good. Pib Extra.
I had no idea when I asked the question about Coke and Pepsi
Yeah.
that we were going to go
Get
down
ready
this
for a
rabbit.
random Lance tangent.
No. See, okay, Kabuki Kid, Mr. Pib, yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. There you go. Okay.
Where are you seeing this chat? I don't see any chat.
If you go to the actual video, the people for Lord knows what reason are watching us at 11:03 p.m.
on
Central
YouTube.
Time. You can actually see there are 24 people, 25 people, 24 people watching us right now.
Wow.
I feel bad for them.
I feel bad for you.
So, what else did you play, Lance? Keep going through your list. I want to hear what else you played.
What else did I play? I played Oceanus, which I thought was kind of light, but I thought it was fun. I played a little bit of what's the really really light Martin Wallace game that Asmodee put out?
Via Nebula.
Via Nebula, which I thought was
Pretty light.
yeah. I mean that was definitely I will definitely play that with my daughter. I've been bugging Anthony to show up, Charles. Anthony, every time I saw him at Gen Con, he looked like he wanted to strangle somebody with his bare hands.
Yeah.
He
was not a happy. He was not a happy camper at Gen Con.
He was livid the entire time that he was there, and I felt very bad for him. He yes, there you go. Let's see.
Hi, kids.
What? Oh, it's John Rott, everybody.
Boom shakalaka, says Lance.
Shakalaka, indeed. See anything? Oh, what else did I play? I did not play Zimby Mojo at Gen Con. I did get eaten by the zombie girls, though. That was nice.
I saw that picture.
I must have walked by the Flying Frog booth about 5 or 6 times, and just like I kept wondering, it's just like how are they still in business?
Yeah.
But
Cards with pictures. Pictures on the wall. Random miniature board game.
yeah, just I don't know. I just let's see here. God, I'm having trouble remembering everything that I played. I don't play a ton of games at Gen Con. I don't have time.
You got to play Clank, man. I'm telling you, it's a really, really good deck builder. I know you're gonna laugh, but I'm telling you, it's
yeah, like
really
I said,
good.
and that's like saying it's a really, really good bowel movement. I just every once in a while there's some just deck builders are yeah.
Well, I can tell you this: you haven't played one like this before.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
a deck builder with a twist.
It's not a twist; it's just solid.
Okay. So there's never been a solid deck builder prior to this one.
Well, what do you consider a solid deck builder? What do you consider a decent deck builder?
You talking about
What's
Clank?
your favorite deck builder?
Yeah.
Are you talking Clank or Clink? Clank, Colonel Clank? What?
Sorry.
Clank.
Like Klank? Clank?
That's how you spell it, man.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
What? Oh wow.
It's a deck builder. They normally do not excite me.
Yeah, it's not like one you've played.
Oh, because it's got a twist.
Guaranteed.
It's a deck builder with a twist, you say?
No, it's actually a
Lance
game.
is in ornery mode.
It's a game powered by a deck building mechanic.
Oh well, let me read up on it here because I'm gonna feign interest. Klank isn't he that
C.
I just what
Clank.
Clank?
Don't forget the exclamation mark at the end.
Well, I don't need that. The search engine of BGG is good enough. All right, let's see here. Clank, a deck building adventure. Burgle your way to adventure in the deck building board game
Oh
Clank.
boy.
Well, you make it sound so exciting.
Mountain lair to steal precious artifacts.
There's
I'm
no
going to read Seafall in the same way you're
To
reading
find
it.
more valuable loot. Acquire cards for your deck and watch your thievish abilities grow. Be quick and be quiet. One false step and clank. Each careless sound draws the attention of the dragon, and each artifact stolen increases its rage. You can enjoy your plunder only if you make it out of the depths alive.
Now you know why Lance is such a sought-after voiceover actor.
Seafall is a 4X inspired game without player elimination, extermination, set in an Age of Sail world reminiscent of our world. In Seafall, the world is starting to claw its way out of the Dark Age and has begun to rediscover seafaring technology. Wow.
That
Exciting.
sounds. It does sound exciting. Thank you.
Battle of the Wars.
Battle of the voiceovers. I'm telling you, man, you got to play the game and get back with me once you've actually played it.
Yeah,
If you feel the same way.
If I don't like it, will you buy my copy off of me
I will. In a heartbeat.
at like double the price?
One and a half.
Well, I don't own it, so I mean, how am I gonna get a copy? I didn't pick it up when I was there. So
Well, I'll sell you one then.
It's triple the price.
you have one, is what you're saying?
We have one.
Mm.
We do. It's good, man. You should try it. I'm confident you'd like it.
It's good, and it's good in it. I am
It's,
excited
it's
about the
like a
Rising
drug
Sun
deal
game.
gone bad, right? This is like a drug deal gone bad. It's like, no, dude, try it. You'll like it. And then you come back for more games. I have more. I got expansions.
I'm just waiting for somebody to yell out, "Dear God, he's wearing a wire." The Rising Sun game, at least the miniatures look cool.
Very cool.
Now, whether or not it'll be any fun, who knows? Ba-da-da-da. Anybody else hear about anything, like any news that got released about anything cool or interesting or what have you?
I will
but I
say
can't tell you.
I will say one thing. I finally understand why all the Demogorgon cracks are coming out lately. I finally saw that first episode of Stranger Things.
Let's not talk about this. I'm going to go to bed if we start talking about this.
Talking about what?
Stranger whatever.
Yeah, you haven't watched it yet, or what?
He has.
Yeah, I did. I just don't think it was...
He's a bit of a denier.
Yeah, I don't think it's that great.
Oh well, to each their own.
I just saw the first episode. I watched it with my wife. I thought it was pretty good.
It gets worse.
Oh, you're crazy. It only
Don't
gets
go
better.
there. What you really feel?
It only gets better.
It's okay. I just thought the acting wasn't that great in any of it, but story was okay.
Hey, yeah, you're entitled to your incredibly wrong opinion.
Hey, Lance, did you try No Man's Sky?
Yeah.
How much have you played of it?
Already? I thought that wasn't out yet.
Came out Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. I don't know. I played it. I played about 6 hours of it, I suppose. I mean, I'm totally not even following what you're supposed to do. I'm just like flying around and mining and blowing, you know.
I think that's what everyone's done. I haven't played it, but I'm just curious if you had.
It's huge. It's like I talked a little bit about it. So I mean, yeah, but it's huge. I'm excited to play London Dread as well, which I got. So that was a game that I saw at Gen Con like 2 years ago. That a guy showed it to me, and then the designer was there, and he came up to me specifically, and he said, "You are gonna love this game. You got to try this out." And I did, and I enjoyed it, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Gary, you read the rules and you said something wonky happens at the end.
I don't know if it's wonky. You got all the story-based stuff, and you got these chapters, and then there's an end chapter, and then after that there's a final showdown with the antagonist, and it's basically just dice rolling to see if you beat them. So there's a lot of build-up, and I think there's a little bit of mitigation maybe with some of the cards you might still have on you if you haven't used them to get to the final showdown. But I'm actually, like Lance, I'm really interested in playing it. It's one of my top games I wanted to check out. But then you're walking through this whole thing, and it's all the story based.
Well, I mean that's Arkham Horror.
That's true. Yeah, and it's just dice at the end of the game, and it's a little bit of luck. So we'll see how it goes.
Sounds very Ameritrashy, which means I'll like it. So.
But the app is not out for the iOS yet. It's just out on Android. So
what you're saying is the vast majority of people that have a cell phone will be able to use it?
Yeah, exactly right. Now you can still do it through the book that's in there and read it, but of course the app would make it a lot better because it's reading it for you, and plus you get the timer, the cool timer for the 12 minutes of the planning phase, which would be neat. But yeah, it's not out on iOS yet.
Yeah, well, eventually the minority of cell phone holders will get what they need, right?
That's exactly.
Well, it's just I always hear that as it's not out for my iPhone yet. Well, it's because there aren't as many iPhone users. What they're not gonna just drives me crazy.
But I'm actually really interested in playing it. It still looks really fun to me.
No, it just I like the presentation. I like the look of it. I'm interested in giving it a whirl, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing, right? Finding the time to play the games. I mean, like I want to play Star Trek Ascendancy too, so Star Trek Ascendancy will be next week because I won't have all 5 guys to play. And 2 of them will be gone, so the 3 of us that are left are going to play that a few times, and then I'll do a review of that instead of the larger amount or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
with Seafall. I just John, how was your Gen Con running your booth and the what have you and the stuff and the thing and the guy?
Oh, thanks for asking. It was great. It was a good experience. We didn't really make any profit, but we didn't make any loss. I think we made like $300 in net profit because our buy-in costs were so high.
Just as a side effect, do you have that $300 you owe me?
No, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I spent it all on the flight home. And then, so, yeah, but I mean, I guess, people say that conventions are about branding. So we definitely spread our brand a lot. We sold a whole, good night, Jim. We had a whole...
Jim, wait for a second. Wait a minute, Jim. Jim's gone. Oh, dang it. Never mind.
We sold a whole lot of halvesies dice, lots and lots of them. It was really neat to have a low price point. Because last year all we had was the King's Armory, so it was a $100 buy-in. And this year we had halvesies dice, and it was a $9 buy-in. So that was kind of cool. So we got to meet a lot of people and had a couple projects that were available for Gen Con pickup. So got to meet like 500 backers.
Did you have a lot of $1 bills then?
We did. Yep.
Why didn't you just make it $10?
To be perfectly honest, right now I need to move dice a little harder and faster than ChessX, and ChessX is standard dice. They're nice. Two tones are 10. So I wanted to give people an incentive to trust the new guy and give it a try. So single buck off, and all I had to do was swing by one of the places to buy a sandwich or one of the places to pick up whatever, and or the front desk at our hotel sold bottles of Gatorade and stuff to people who were playing in the lobby. So just swing by and pick up 25 or 50 $1 bills at the start of each day. So yeah, it wasn't a big issue. So it was a huge success.
All right, fair enough. Well, it just seems weird. What a pain in the tuchus that have to be. That's the other thing too that always would drive me. It seems so haphazard. It's like most people are like, yeah, it's $40. Okay, here's $2.20. Fine. You get your thing, and you're kind of like going through. But then you run into that one random person who is selling stuff, and they're like, oh, it's $42.35. Really? It's just like the whole point is this is a cash thing, and I'm just like, it's like you're just telling me you want me to use my card instead of giving you cash, and it was weird. It was annoying because we live in such a weird day and age now where it's just like the idea of having cash or whatever in our hand is just annoying or whatever. Makes it weird.
Cool. You're entitled to your perfectly wrong opinion.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
No. It's surprising to me. I was pretty blown away by the percentage of cash sales. We were at about 40% cash sales, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of people slinging $10 bills and $20 bills around. I was really surprised at it. And then, of course, we had a number of people who came by with credit cards and was like, declined. All right, try the next one. Declined. Try the next one. Declined. Call the bank. Try them all again. Decline, decline, decline. They go off to the ATM and they come back with cash. So there were two people I actually asked. I was like, are you actually going to be okay? Because I don't feel right selling you something if, like, you have no money anywhere to pay for it. So, but they both assured me that there was money somewhere and that they were okay. So I was like, all right, but I don't know. Who's this guy I keep getting to look at? Who's this man versus M? Because, hi, you're the only thing on my screen right now.
Oh, I am?
Yeah, and I didn't even click on
your face. So
hi.
Hey.
What's your name?
That's Jeremy Salinas, Dragon Strike videos from way back in the day. Now he does Man vs. Meeple.
Oh, okay.
And that's
David, Jeremy. My
Man
name's
vs.
Shinra.
Meeple. And that's,
how you doing? Nice to meet you.
And that's Gary something or other.
Gary Chumbly.
Chumbly.
And David Wainwright.
Tumbly with a silent B.
David, I met David before.
Yep. Yeah, we got into some
So Barry, what was your game of the convention?
It wasn't.
I know. That's why I was.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I did.
I was gonna say, Barry, if you were there and you didn't visit my booth, I would be perfectly okay with it.
Hey Barry, did you drive that lazy boy into the convention hall?
I could have. Wheels on it.
Pimp
We
my
got
lazy
wheels for you.
That'd be awesome.
Barry, is that a giant? Is that your hand? It just looks disproportional there.
Or.
Yeah, like put it down again. It looks like it's a giant hand in comparison. It looks like look at this. Like it looks like it's a fake rubber prop hand. Like, look at what a giant hand. That's really eerie, dude. That's scary. I seriously thought it was like a giant mitten hand that you just had put there, but now I realize, oh wow, that's creepy.
I was beginning to miss Travis too. Anyway.
Yeah, you don't miss Travis.
Nah, not a bit.
He said he was gonna make it tonight. Now he's not here. So Jeremy, is your hat? Is that a? Did you distress the bill of your hat yourself through repeated wears, or did you buy it like that?
No,
it's
trendy old.
And cool.
It's like 10 years old, maybe.
No, it's
scrape it on the concrete.
Yeah.
That's how we do it old school.
Machine, mini a wash machine.
You don't wash hats in the washing machine.
Oh, you do. This one's like grimy. It needs
Dishwasher.
washed again.
Well, no, you put it in the dishwasher. Exactly. Who said that? Yeah, you put it in the dishwasher.
I just put it in a pillowcase and wash it.
Yeah, but no, there's no tumbling in the dishwasher. You just that's like the Gary knows what he's talking about. Gary knows what he's doing.
I've done a few of those myself back in the day.
I remember remember those hat buddies that they call them? You put your hat in so you could put it in the wash and it wouldn't get ruined.
Like the little cage.
Yeah, the little cage for it. And then of course, but if you twisted the bill, which I always do, it wouldn't fit in the cage anymore. So.
I haven't seen those in a long time.
Oh yeah, I haven't thought about those in a long time.
That was 90s action.
Totally. What was I? Yeah, that's a long time ago. Barry, have you played anything new recently?
The card game of what the fuck is it called now? Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project card game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That just came last week when I was down the shore. I got it to the table the other day. It was interesting. Yeah. I want to play it again. I did a solo thing like I normally do to learn a game.
James Matthew had a booth actually close to TMG, right down the aisle from us. I had not seen James Matthew with a booth at Gen Con.
Whoa! You just backed up far enough. Do you have your own VGG jersey?
Yeah.
What? What's it say?
It says Undead Viking on the back, duh.
Well, it should. Congratulations. When did that happen?
I've been bugging Aldi to get me one for about 4 years.
Well, I better get started. Is he coming on tonight? I want my own jersey by the next Summer Olympics.
Would it say Captain Awesome on the back?
Frickin' right it would.
Yeah, you can probably keep bugging him. You know, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. But yeah, what number do you want though? See, I took 00. You can't take 00. So.
Oh, I didn't realize I get to pick a number. I'll figure out. I got a couple options. I got a couple 2-digit numbers I'm pretty cool with.
Is it like 11? Oh, I'm just kidding.
You did not just...
Fucking Lance. Hey, come on. I'll say it all, man. Give me the finger.
I like you. No, I don't care. 79 or something cool. Birth year, something fun, whatever.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna ask. I actually had a question I was gonna ask. Oh, good! It's storming again outside.
How good for you.
Um.
Little John learned what thunder was this last week, because we don't have that in California.
You don't get thunderstorms in California?
No, man. Maybe once or twice a year if we're lucky.
Mm.
And it's guaranteed in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, so you might sleep through it anyway.
Oh, last night we had one of those. We had the lightning storm that went right over town, and it was one of those things where the flash and the thunder were almost the exact same time, so you knew the whole house shakes. You know, just dogs hide underneath the covers. It was, but I dig that though. I think it's kind of neat watching it all happen. God, I had a question too. Dang it.
Hey, really random. I'm excited.
You're pregnant.
Dice are officially listed on Amazon.com, and people are buying them. It's so cool.
Your Havesies dice are?
I'm like a real company.
Now see, I gotta go on Amazon.com and check this out now. Havesies dice.
Yeah, look it up yourself. See, I'll drop you the link, but look it up, see what you can find.
Half sizes dice. No, that's $12 Prime. $11.99 to get them shipped directly to my house.
That's really, really cheap.
For $61, I can get King's Armory sent to me.
What's that?
For $61, I can get King's Armory sent to me.
Heck yeah, you get double it. You can get the limited edition version.
Yeah, but it's not Prime.
Yes, it is.
That's
Prime for me.
Oh. Psionic Combat, the air. That was I mean, no offense, but I hate the air, like hair, HEIR, the hair, the hair. Is that what you're going?
If you can't pronounce it or read English, this is not my fault.
Well, no. I mean, how do you, are you saying hair or air?
It's the air. It's like the H is silent, just like herbs.
Okay, yeah, that's just a weird thing. Okay, the Trent, the Amethyst, the Mithril,
You're once again entitled to
the
complete your
Nanobots, the air, the Adamantium. The Adamantium looks
John,
nice.
can I ask you a question about? I'm actually looking at Amazon right now.
Sure,
This
buddy.
is a strange question, but on your King's Armory listing,
Sure.
who supplied the picture to the game? Is that something you did as the publisher or the creator, or is it someone else? Like, who does that for you?
Can you drop the link so I'm looking at the same one as you? Put it in the comments.
Yeah. Can.
Because I listed some and other people modified some and things got wonky. So
So there you go. Those are pretty cool. The Adamantium ones.
I think that one was me, but it might be, for some reason it's showing up very low quality on mine. The zoomed version is actually nicer quality.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too.
Yeah, that's really weird. I don't know what Amazon did to that mini picture. It shouldn't.
Magma.
Right?
Magma.
Yeah, why do you ask?
I was just wondering who supplies like the pictures to Amazon, if it's you or
Yeah, you're putting up that yourself?
are they?
Yeah, it kind of depends on who lists it first, and then
Yeah.
anybody who's selling that same product. So, like, Cool Mini are not selling the same product as me, and Amazon forces us all to share the same listing, and then it'll say like 3 new and used from 3 different sellers or whatever. It's all the same listing, but we all have an offer. So anybody who is offering that product can go in and change that picture if they wanted to. Like somebody could make an offer for it and just start trolling and throw up random pictures of crap. I'm surprised that it doesn't happen more often on Amazon, but you could technically get away with it. Yeah, somebody changed the description of the listing on the King's Armory at one point. It was up there for a long time, and somebody replaced the one that I typed with one that Eric Martin typed on BGG, and it was edited by other users. So it was like a fourth-party description of the game, and it was not awesome. I don't know why somebody replaced it, but they did, and then I had to fight with Amazon to try to get it changed, and then since somebody else changed it, it's a weird system. It's weird. So it's a little bit of wrangling, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, I go on Amazon.
Dice are pretty.
Dang. So I'll go on Amazon, I'll see stuff that like looks really weird or there's horrible typos, but like nobody really cares, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
Trent dice are pretty.
Much to my surprise, Treant dice were the first ones that sold on Amazon. I mean, I listed them all at the same time, but Treant was the first one to go, and somebody just ordered Moonlight Sonata and 2 Psionic Combats in one order.
Psionic Combat's the best looking of the bunch.
Absolutely, everybody is absolutely number one. Everybody's favorite.
Those are awesome dice, dude.
Thanks. I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, you should be selling them for $14 a pair.
I should be.
Yeah, you should be. Do it. Change it now.
I'm cool.
You're cool? All right.
Cool. I don't know if they would move at $14, and they're definitely worth it, but I mean, I have to be competitive if I want to be a little guy. I mean, people look at this one and look at chest X's and they say, what's the difference? Oh, there's a half and a half swirl, and yours are a little shinier. Do they both roll? You know, and I understand that. I like
You lost Gary!
So.
Let's come back.
Okay. There he is.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I want to be competitive, and I don't know. I'm not greedy. I'm just not greedy. So, I'm happy to not mark it up if I don't have to. That's the way I do.
Then, yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Thanks for picking up the specialty gold air dice. Appreciate your support.
Okay. Sorry.
Welcome back.
So
what else?
Yeah, what else? Come on, guys. Must have been something at Gen Con that made somebody angry at some point, right? Besides the fact that Seafall was all sold out.
I can tell you this, man. David and I had the best Sunday ever. That's all I can say.
What'd you do?
Sunday so I understand what you're talking about?
You're
talking ice cream, or are you talking the first day of the week?
He's talking ice cream.
Sweet.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm serious. I've got a sundae waiting for me in the freezer right now. So like.
No, without being too cryptic, we met with somebody, and in a couple weeks we're going to be showcasing something incredibly spectacular.
That's exciting.
Yeah, super exciting.
Hey, I can make a public announcement of other exciting things. I met with my manufacturer on the Havesies dice, who the factory quit after Havesies dice, and we they're too hard. So we talked them back into and massaged their shoulders into going forward with more dice, and we have officially been greenlit for Havesies 2.0. So this fall we'll be doing the next Kickstarter for Havesies 2.0 with all new color sets. So that's my exciting news. I can't wait to hear about yours, your secret cryptic information that you're not going to tell us about.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, I'm glad you have secret cryptic special information.
Yeah, it should be cool. I think it'll set
you have to announce it.
Years for sure.
You have to announce it for the first time on the Alaboom. Just so you know.
No, he won't. He's too cool for us.
Around the end of this month, more information will come out, and then September.
The secret is that Lance loves deck builders.
Yeah, that's my secret shame. I put on a good.
I'm working on a deck builder. Are you not going to review it for me?
It's called Crunk.
Yeah, is it called Clank?
Yeah, with a
question mark.
I can't wait till Lance plays it and actually comes back here and has to admit that he liked it.
He won't.
I've always been honest. What are you talking about, man?
It's true. All right, kids. Well, I just wanted to drop in and say hi and.
Wait, go get your basket. Let's play. What's in John's basket?
It's hilarious.
Come on, go get it. You can't come on the show without playing What's in John's basket. Go get it.
Once again, I say you're lucky. I like you, Lance.
Yeah, go get your basket. You long-haired hippie freak.
No kidding. Wow.
Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do.
Is that your Price is Right music? Oh, not bad, not bad.
At my we have the Northern League baseball team up here, the Red Hawks, and in between one of the games they play in between innings or whatever is What's in the Bag, and so then they pick one random person out of the crowd, they bring them out there, and they either give them like a coupon for like the local grocery store that is cash-wise foods, or they have a bag. And then they actually have a song that says, "What's in the bag? What's in the bag? You got a choice between the coupon or what's in the bag? What's in the bag?" And then they have to pick. Do they want the like $50 grocery gift card, or do they want what's in the bag? All right, so here we go. What's in John's? All right, there seems to be some weird. Well, those are apples on the bottom, right?
Sunday on top.
And what's up with, is that a Sunday, or what is that?
I told you I have a Sunday waiting for me in the freezer. That's why I'm leaving.
McDonald's.
Is that a McDonald's frappe?
You know, McDonald's had 2-for-1 frappes all summer long, and I stopped to get the 2-for-1 frappe. And they don't, well, the frappy, as I prefer to call it, they don't have 2-for-1 frappes anymore, so I had to settle for the 2-for-1 Sundays. Well, the 2 for price of 2 Sundays, but they make it sound like it's a deal because they say it's 2 for $2.50 with extra caramel. Don't get it if you're not going to put the extra topping in the bottom. It's just not worth it.
You specifically asked for it to be in the bottom?
Oh heck yes! So at the end, I could just like sit there with like a spoonful of crack. it's the reason why I get the sundae. I don't care about the ice cream. So true story.
That's amazing.
Thank you. So are you, Lance.
Oh, all right, John.
Lance, I love you dearly. It was really, really good to see you again. It was good to see your wife too.
Yes, it was nice to be seen, and I was glad that I happened upon your wife in the hallway. Otherwise, I would not have seen him, and I saw your awesome little dude as well. So
Oh, good. She had said that she saw you. She was very happy about it.
me and Little John, we fist bumped. So
Sweet.
and I tickled his little belly. So
Oh, good for
and
you.
she said and your wife, she may have been just lying to me, but your wife said he's usually not this friendly with strangers. But
He's
yeah,
actually not. He's very like, don't touch me yet, person.
yes, but he was yeah. It was very he's awesome, and so yeah, you take care of that family of yours.
He's the reason why that dice set's named the Air.
Oh, the air up there. Hey, are you going to be at BGGCon?
No, I really wish. Mostly just going to hang out with you and Aldi, but I'm not. I'm going to try to make it next year.
Very cool.
Or maybe I'll make it to the Bastard Stepchild one they have in the spring.
Yeah, I might go to BGG Spring this year. I'm thinking about it, or next year I should say.
I'd like to support it. I'd like to see it grow and turn more into a mainstream one like Audi intended, you know?
Well, yeah, and then if it could be like not as stupidly busy and I could still have fun, I probably would enjoy that. That's one of the reasons why I liked Origin so much, because it wasn't stupidly busy and I was still able to have fun.
No, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, at Gen Con there was absolutely no breathing time whatsoever, especially running a booth. There was just it was insane. So
Yeah, totally.
Gen Con is not cool,
do we have any questions for John before he goes? Did you see any in the chat?
Yeah, I haven't stopped in the chat yet. Hi everybody in the chat. Sorry I haven't stopped in.
Oh, yeah. We'll see if now that you've addressed them, maybe they'll ask you.
All right. Search for Undead Viking YouTube.
Yeah. It doesn't look like they're asking any questions. They're arguing over Scythe and Blood Rage right now, apparently.
Oh.
Oh, Lord.
Continue to do that. I'd share the link with them to have these dice, but you can't post links in that comment chat. Anyway, so just Google it if you want to look for it. If you want to keep arguing over Scythe versus Blood Rage, you can enjoy that too.
All right, go buy some halvesies dice, everybody.
Cool. Support the family. Appreciate it. All right. Love you guys. It was good to see you. Nice to meet you, Jeremy. Hopefully,
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Do you guys do reviews or something?
Yeah, check us out, Man versus Meeple.
Man, yeah, I've heard about you guys. I apologize. I've never got a chance to visit your site, but
No,
I'll
cool.
definitely mark it down.
Cool.
All right, man. I look forward to your exciting news, and congratulations on having exciting news. I know what that's like when it's like building up. You're like, oh my gosh, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. So
It's gonna be really cool for sure.
cool. Good for you, man. All right, take care, everybody. Good night, Barry.
Later.
John.
See ya.
All right, so long.
Who here watches Rick and Morty? I mean, I know some of you do, but
Oh boy.
I haven't seen the second season yet.
there is a YouTube video. Okay, so there was a transcript of a change, like a court transcript between a judge and a guy who was going to like he had a trial coming up, and the guy wanted to get rid of his a court-appointed lawyer and represent himself, and it just incredibly, like, the conversation between the convict and the judge just devolved into absolute lunacy. So it is, and so what they did was they made a YouTube video of and a very, 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 very basic animation of basically Morty as the judge and Rick as the convict, and them just reading the transcript verbatim. And I watched that probably 5 times last night, and I was just laughing my ass off. I could not stop laughing. So it definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it already. Yeah, do so. Because like literally, like the it starts off with the convict saying he needed a new lawyer, because the lawyer said that he said, and they said, why do you need a new lawyer? And he said that that the lawyer would only represent him if he let the lawyer perform oral sex on him. Like not like he had to do it to the lawyer. He had to let the lawyer, give him a blowjob basically. And then the judge is like, yeah, I don't believe you. And he's like, I don't care if you don't believe me, And if you watch Rick and Morty, it is absolutely hilarious. So just a little thing out there for you to check out if that interests you at all. It's funny. It's very funny. And Kabuki Kid, of course, knows exactly what I'm talking about because Kabuki Kid has her finger on the pulse of the craziness. So, and I still want to know why Kabuki Kid refuses to come on the boom. We've invited her probably how many times? Well, every time. She just refuses. What are you eating, David? Wait, I'm gonna guess. Pringles. No, that's a Diet Coke. You were eating something. I saw you grab something, put it in your mouth, and eat it.
Here, we'll play a game.
Okay, looks like it's possibly... Is it Funyuns? No. Oh, it's the $2 bag of chips, the Santitas.
Yeah,
the $2 bag of chips. I like the rare occasion when you can get the white corn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? I had those, but I don't like them as much as the yellow. In fact, but yeah.
Whenever I see them, I just have to buy them because of the fact that, because they're so rare. It's like you have to get them when you can. Have you seen the El Grande bag of Santitas?
Oh no.
It's like a double the size, and it's like $3.09 or something like that.
What?
Yeah, totally worth it.
Just random conversation.
Welcome to Alaboom.
And this is far from the most random conversation we've ever had. So, yeah, no. Yeah. If you YouTube up Rick, Morty, and like the state of Georgia versus Denver, Fenton, Allen, it's almost 10 minutes long, and it is, just ridiculous and hilarious. And if we could like all watch it at the same time and giggle and not have the worst radio of all time, I would strongly suggest doing it. So, but yeah, there you go.
What other shows are you watching right now?
I rarely get to watch shows. I guess I'm watching The Night Of, which is fantastic.
I keep meaning to get back to that.
Yeah,
I haven't watched that.
That's the HBO show. John Turturro. Just lots of fantastic actors. It was supposed to be James Gandolfini was supposed to take John Turturro's role, but it was definitely worth watching. Very, very tense as well. A lot of moments that are just very tough to swallow in certain situations. But just if you know the premise, basically, guy goes out. His dad's a cab driver, and he doesn't have a ride to the party, so he takes his dad's cab. As he's trying to figure out where this party is, he's parked on the side of the road, and a woman gets in the cab, and so like he tries to explain to her that he's not really a cab driver, but then like whatever reason she convinces him to just give her a ride to whatever location they're going to, and so they end up there, and they end up spending the night together at her house, and he wakes up. They're doing drugs and drinking all night, and then he wakes up. This is like a 21-year-old kid. He wakes up and he's in the kitchen. Like he wakes up at the kitchen table. Like he has no idea. He was in bed with her, and he wakes up and he's there, and he goes upstairs to like say goodbye, and she's been killed. She's got like just been stabbed to death repeatedly, blood all over the room, and so of course he freaks out and he runs, and because then when they catch him, they think he's the one that killed the girl, but he doesn't. He didn't do it, and so it's all about that court case and the lawyer and how the justice system's kind of screwed up and all kinds of crazy things. Well worth watching. Everybody does a very, very good job. So, and if you say I don't have HBO, well, you probably have HBO Now. So, because you can pay HBO Now $15 a month, and you can have access to everything. So, there you go.
Have you seen Vice Principals, Lance?
It pops up all the time, but I haven't watched it yet. I
One, two.
I have no time. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like I want to. I'd love to, but I just rarely have time.
Jeremy, did you just do a testing 1, 2?
Testing, Jeremy, testing.
Jeremy 1, 2. Jeremy 1, 2.
Testes 1, 2.
He's not paying any attention to us. He's just like,
I bet he
I
can.
hear you.
Oh,
no. I can tell Jeremy's like, I hate you. That's oh, I can hear you, you a-holes. But yeah. Yeah. God, I just want to watch this. I just want to watch this cartoon again.
don't do it.
It's so good. And plus, if you watch Rick and Morty, their voices are just absolutely hilarious for the moment or whatever.
Let me refocus you, Lance. Have you played Vast?
I have not, though I've heard lots of good things, and they're sending me a copy.
Are they?
I was going to go over and pick one up, but on the last day I was there, but they were sold out. So I was just kind of like, whatever. But yeah, they were going to like go ahead and they're in Minnesota, so and they I might end up I'm going to the cities here in September. They asked me if I'd stop by their like studio or whatever. I said, which was probably some guy's basement, but I said I probably would. So it's only like about a 3-hour drive away. I don't know, man. I got a little less than nothing. I mean, I'm having a bad day anyway, and I appreciate doing this because it takes my mind off. A friend of the family passed away last night, so we're just kind of in limbo right now. And my next door neighbor down at the lake, the guy I've known for 30 years, killed over from a heart attack last night. So I'm kind of in a state of shock too. So I apologize if I'm not keeping up on the conversation as well.
No, man, that's all right.
Sorry to hear about that, man.
Yeah, well, what do you do? Can't do anything about it, right? It's just it's just sad. But the thing that stinks about it is like having to explain it to my daughter, who's like 9. Because like he's got a swing set and stuff in the yard, and he always goes over there, and he's always pushing her, and just like goes fishing with us and all kinds of things like that. Yeah, no, I didn't say it for condolences. I know everybody feels bad. Nobody's gonna say good. I'm glad he's dead. Nobody's gonna say that. It's just I'm a little out of it, so I apologize. Normally I'm much more in tune with the conversations. So enough sadness. Moving on. I'll have enough blubbering to do this weekend when I go to the funeral. So, all right. So here's my final. I have it all. Do I get the late backers pledge for Dark Souls, the board game, and get all the stretch goals? Do I give them $100 of my money? Yes or no?
You're going on anyway, so why bother asking?
Thank you, Barry. You're so helpful.
Testing 1, 2.
I'm gonna say no.
You're gonna say no?
I'm gonna say no.
Testing 1, 2.
Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2.
Jeremy, do you want us to wait for a minute?
Oh, I hear you guys.
What are you doing?
Yeah, we hear you too, though.
Yeah, what are you doing? Is my show your time to test out new audio equipment? Is that how
Pretty much,
little
man.
you think of the Alaboom?
When you guys are gonna start talking about board games, let me know.
Classic.
And no, I wouldn't. I would not back that Dark Souls game.
Why do you say that?
I don't think it looks that good.
You don't?
I don't think so. What looks good about it?
I don't know what looks good about it to you.
Well, nothing. That's why I said I don't particularly think it looks good.
I don't know.
Bloodborne was good.
I think it's a lot of FOMO, that I'm feeling. I like the board. I like the computer game too, or the game, if you will.
Did you play Bloodborne, Lance?
The card game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Yeah, it was okay. I'll play like 2 or 3 times, and then I'll never want to play it again. But then again, it takes a lot for games to jump out at me and get me to super excited. The one thing that, like, I don't know, it's like I keep looking. I mean, the art for the game, obviously for Dark Souls, looks really, really cool. But I mean, it's just basically the art from the game.
Yeah.
So, and like the minis look neat, But once again, they're just from the game themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you doing, Jeremy?
I am trying to fix my mic, and it's not really working. I mean, I keep having mic issues, and I'm not a technical guy when it comes to audio. Just trying to get it to work. Getting frustrated with it for sure. What do you use to record, by the way?
For what?
Just for your videos and whatnot. Are you using the mic directly on your camcorder?
I don't use anything. I just talk. But I'm in a tiny room that's completely. Every wall is floor to ceiling cardboard, and the room is probably 10 by 10, and then the shelves themselves. So my area on the floor is probably 6 feet by 6 feet, and the camera is
So you're not mic'd up, basically. You're just using the sound that's coming in from your camcorder.
Just the sound of my voice as I talk.
I use a dedicated recorder with lav mics.
Nobody asked you, Barry.
Classmate.
You speak when spoken to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm wondering if there's any diamonds in the rough games that besides Clank that I didn't hear about that I might be interested in.
Imagine's really good. It's
It's
a really good game. It's you know what I'm talking about?
The Wah?
Imagine?
Imagine.
Like the song by John Lennon?
One in the
I like
same.
that.
I think I might have. Let me see if I have it over here.
It's a game, has clear cards with iconography all over them, and you build basically charades with these cards.
Oh, well, charades, you say.
So this is it here. So it's actually really cool. It's
Hold it up again, Jeremy.
before?
Hold it up again, Jeremy. Alright, the animated guessing game.
Have you played Concept?
Yes.
So it's way better than Concept, and I wasn't a huge fan of Concept, but there's a ton of these cards, and they're all plastic. You can see through them, right? So the whole idea is you're given a card with numbers on it like every other game, and someone will give you a number, and then you're trying to create an animated sequence with these cards by overlaying them on top of other things. Like, you could do this and be like, that's Ghost Rider or something, and trying to get somebody to guess it by doing a multitude of different things.
I would say that's the guy who got shot in the face.
Yeah, that's it. I was just thinking of something off the top of my head. Like Darth
So you're
Vader.
really good at this game, is what you're saying.
Oh, It's cool. It's really neat. It can be played from competitive adults to young kids. We played
It
it
is
with our
very good.
9-year-old the
What
other
company
day.
is publishing that?
Game right?
Game right?
Hmm. I played Box of Rocks. I crushed the rocks. Are you familiar with Box of Rocks?
I hear the rocks are good in that game.
Basically, you have a box
Of rocks.
that has
Mhm.
3 rocks in it. One rock has nothing written on either side. The other 2 rocks have a 1 on one side of the rock. The rocks are kind of flat. And then basically you pull a trivia question, and the answer will be 0, 1, or 2. So like the trivia question might be, how many people have hit golf balls on the moon? Is it 0, 1, or 2? So what'd you guys say?
1.
All right. So your guess is 1. So then you shake up the box, and you open up the box, and depending on what the rocks say, 0, 1, or 2, you compare the answers. Your answer 1 is correct. There's one guy who hit golf balls on the moon. And that golf ball is still there. And then you check and see what the rocks guessed, and it's completely random. And then whoever gets the 3 points first wins. So are you smarter than a box of rocks? So
Clever. Clever.
Yeah. It's just a total gag game.
Sure.
But when the guy, as I was walking by, the guy said, "Sir, are you smarter than a box of rocks?" And I said, "Yes." And I crushed those rocks 3-0. So I put the rocks in their place. I felt pretty good about myself. Yeah, I don't know. Now you got me looking at this weird Imagine game. So,
It's good, man.
It is. It's only like $15 too.
hmm
Interesting.
Did you see Kumo, perchance, Lance?
Doesn't ring a bell.
It's not the best game in the world by any means, but it's kind of a hybrid chess strategy style game. But it's by a French company called Morning Players. Did you walk by their booth?
Is that weird one with the dice or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that at BGG last year, and it looked really weird.
Did you see the quality of the components though in it?
No, I did not.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, the whole package is only $40, but
Was it actually for sale, or were they just demoing it?
no, it's for sale. It's really unique. I mean, we played one game of it, David,
Yeah.
and it kind of fell flat the first time, but we played the rules all kind of wonky. We obviously didn't play it right the first time, but I'm eager to try it again. Basically, you're using dice to push this totem to one side of the board. Let me go grab it because you need to see the components, man.
Yeah, and you're never really rolling the dice. You're just using those as pieces, and whatever's face up is the power that you get.
So this is it here, and this whole sheath thing comes off, right? This thing is like plastic. It's not cardboard by any means. It's like a plastic sheath. And then the game opens with a magnetic flap on the top, and it opens up to have this like cool rules thing insert up here, and then the game is all down in here. Let me show this stuff though. So it's got this rotating board on it. Sorry. So this board plugs in, and it rotates around, so you can move the board in a pattern around it. But the cool part of the components inside, they're solid wooden, chunky pieces of wood that are painted. These things here. And they're all painted, and you don't roll them, but you move them. You pick a side, and you're actually trying to move a totem. That's this piece of metal. It's like machined metal. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. I don't know. But I mean, the components have to be expensive, and the whole thing sold for like $40.
Yeah.
But what drew us to them was a game called The Mines of Olnak, which has this really spectacular cover on it. It's not out yet. I think it comes out at the end of the year. Gary, did you play it? I thought you played a demo of it or something.
Yeah, I demoed it. It's a worker placement. I think they're going to Kickstarter it. He said maybe January or beginning of 2017. But
How did it play? You remember?
I'm sorry. What would you say?
How did it play?
Pretty good. I mean, we really didn't play a whole lot of it, but he was just kind of showing me the parts. But it seemed like it had a little like a Trajan kind of mechanics to it. But it's really cool. You're just kind of going in. You're building mines and trying to have the biggest mines, and there's some resource management in it. It's really cool.
The board was kind of cool too. It was like remind me kind of a Star Trek Ascendancy with the things and the big circles on them or whatnot.
And then they had the other game, Museum, which is set collection, but all different types of way of doing set collections. And you're building your museum, and one part of your museum is the Grand Gallery, and you're trying to put all your better sets of artifacts and whatever in those sections. And that was pretty cool, too, and that'll be coming out in a few months as well.
And yeah, their artwork on stuff was...
It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good stuff.
I never heard of this Mines of Olnak.
Yeah, it was like pretty cool. The components will be, he said, all different once they get through the Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Are you looking at it, Lance?
Yeah.
I think Panda's doing all their stuff as well, component-wise.
But is it as good as Clank? And that's the big question.
Clank exclamation point.
No, it's the sequel to that game. It's Clank question mark. And then the final of the three-parter is going to be Clink. Yeah, Clink, but that's going to be with a K and then a CK for the second one, and there's going to be a plus sign. They're gonna branch out with Clink.
Hogan. I see nothing.
I see nothing.
Hurt my feelings, man. Hurt my feelings.
I'm sure you think the game is amazing.
What? Clank?
Clink, Clonk, Clunk. Ooh, Clunk. I'm sure the game is fun if you're into that sort of thing. So
Lance, I'd kind of had it with deck builders too, but you gotta.
I had it.
You gotta try it. You gotta try it.
I gotta.
You gotta.
I gotta. All right, I'll take a look at it. Maybe. If I get a chance. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a no.
Well, no, I mean it's one of those things where I'm not going to go seek it out, but I mean if I need a $25 game to fill out a cart or something.
It's $60, so it's not 25.
Well, then it's off the list. To heck with that place. If I can't get the game for $25 or less. But is it released, or is it just like they had a soft release at Gen Con?
It's not released. I think it was just a soft release.
I think October.
They brought 4 copies. Sold them to VIGs only.
No. And we come full circle. You should get a VIG badge, Jeremy.
The whole idea of that just rubs me the wrong way. But
I have told anybody who'll listen that, like, it's like the way that they give the press badges away. I mean, seriously, like when I went in there to get my press badge, and I walked in, there was a person in there who basically just said, "Yeah, I take pictures for a website about board games. Can I get a press badge?" And they were just printing it off for her. They didn't check anything. They didn't check a website. They didn't do anything. They just printed off a press badge for her. And I mean, if you didn't want to pay to go to Gen Con, you could just do that. And then you have access to the press room and get all the free sodas and whatever you want.
Beanbag.
No, there's no beanbags in there. But if you do interviews, it's a quiet place. So like if you wanted to go in there, and they do have a Gen Con backdrop that you can stand in front of if you want to videotape it. So I mean, like if you were doing, but yeah, I mean obviously, if you have a press badge, you don't have to buy a badge to get into Gen Con. If you are one of the first 100 people to get your press badge, you can get in an hour early on Thursday. Just on Thursday, but the big thing is they have these 3 big tubs that are filled with drinks, juice, sodas, water. So if you get thirsty and you want to go get a can of Coke or whatever, you can just wander over to the press room, grab a can, and they make it it's pretty cool. And once you're on that list, once you are on the list or whatever for press people, it's like you're golden. I mean, like they just send me mine now. I don't even have to apply for it. They like as soon as press badges are available, they send me an email saying your press badge is waiting for you. So yeah, so start writing a blog, or don't and lie when you get there. I guess no, but you need the badge if you're going to get a hotel room. But then again, a hotel room in Indy it's the trick. Area complains about the hotel room situation. My hotel room, they totally screwed up my my room charge too. It was just annoying. I won't go into it, but it's one of those things where it's just like, and I knew it. I knew going in they were going to screw it up. I was just like, because I had called and asked questions about it, so that guaranteed that they were going to screw it up, because it's like they re-verify and re-verify and re-verify your card, and then it's just like, so then my card flagged it, so it's just like, so it wouldn't go through, and I was just like, ugh. Pain in the ass. But the Omni Severin is a very nice hotel. However, that the Crown Plaza, if you're gonna stay, that's the place to stay. I stayed there last year. You just have the walkway that leads right into the convention center. You don't have to walk outside at all. It's nice stuff. Of course, you guys all live local, probably, so you don't have to worry about that. Yes.
Yeah, buddy. We close.
Yeah. Who, the people that are watching and listening, no, I did not order adult movies, Paul. I have my wife with me.
What's that?
I didn't have a fridge in my room. I didn't even have a mini fridge. So it's just like, so I didn't, and Kyle, I did talk to the designers of Fallen Land and checked out the game. I did not play it though. There was the one thing where they had the big bottle of water that looks like, and I've been in hotels where they give you a bottle of water that's complimentary or whatever. But there was a big bottle of water and had a little like tag on it. It was like if you wanted to drink it, it was $7. $7 freaking dollars if you wanted to have it or whatever. I was just like, for a bottle of water, and it was like, and admittedly it was like a big bottle of water. It was probably like, but it wasn't like, yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Straight from the wells of Indianapolis.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know, $7 American. Thank you, Paul. Does anybody? I think we're gonna wrap up here pretty soon. But does anybody in the that's watching have any questions about any Gen Con releases or anything that we may have seen or played that you're curious about? And then you can go from there. Did you picked up Ascendancy, Star Trek Ascendancy, didn't you, Jeremy?
I did.
Did you pay the $40 for the mat?
I did not. No.
I was like, oh, but these look kind of neat. I was looking at them, and I was like, and then I thought that, like, so what is this? And I was just like, oh, it's just like, it wasn't even really, it didn't really have anything. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like it had like really cool art in it. It was just some weird blue background mat that said Star Trek in one corner.
Oh.
That theoretically you play the game on there, which is Eric wants to know what are my thoughts on what FFG shared in their presentation. It has been way too long since FFG has had a big, like, secret mention. I can remember when they would, like, when it was like a big freaking deal, the going to FFG State of the Union address, basically, and what they would notice. I mean, last year was the one that was just like when they said Warhammer Quest, it was like everybody's like, yeah, the card game. So, which I thought was funny, and then it turned out the card game was actually not that bad. So, I don't know. It just they didn't really know. I mean, like you said, you're excited about the Imperial Assault mention, but I don't know. I was just kind of like, so, I maybe like you said that the app will give it a punch in the arm that it needs, but I know people that love that Imperial Assault game. I can't. I don't know.
Well, the whole in-flight report has kind of lost its luster.
Well,
I mean, everyone uses cases now. We saw one at Asmodee this year. We saw one at FFG. We saw one at Cool Mini. Dice Tower had their own thing that had a reveal from Eric Lang game. So that whole we have our own little show. It's not like it was 5 years ago, or even last year when they were the only people doing it.
Well, and that's just the thing, and FFG and also FFG always used to have that one game that you didn't know they were going to release, and they had copies of it there.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Netrunner came back, it was like, yeah, we got Netrunner.
Yeah.
And like they somehow kept that a secret from everybody that Netrunner would be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and not only are we announcing Netrunner, we have 2,000 copies of the game for sale.
Right.
Nobody does that anymore. Which, I don't know. It'd be cool if they did. That's why I was like, I had that hope against hope that the Iron Throne game would be there. Of course, no. But
yeah.
I don't know. I am getting kind of annoyed with this whole we got to be the person that says the we got to have the announcement. Who gives a crap? It's like, how about you just worry about making a good game and instead of worrying about trying to drum up this excitement about this announcement of stuff. I don't know. It just bothers me. And it's just also then it just kind of breeds this weird sense of competition where it's like, I got to be the first person to tweet this out. I mean, it was like we went to I got tickets to go to the Upper Deck party, which I knew what they were going to announce because I just had heard what it was already, but they're there. We're sitting at the Upper Deck party, and the guy, which was not a huge deal. There's probably 50 people there, but then they basically said, it's like, we're gonna do legendary Buffy the Vampire Slayer, So and everybody's like, woo, right? Literally, the moment he said that, there was at least 15 people all taking pictures of the thing and trying to be the first person to tweet it out. Just so I got it out there first, and I'm just kind of like, should I be doing that right now? Am I the only one who doesn't think this is really that big of news? Okay, maybe.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, I just and the thing is that's not just that Buffy the Vampire thing. It's all of that. It's just kind of like, oh, we're gonna do this, that, the other thing. Who cares? Just make the game. Just I don't know. But I suppose people just love that news. They love being the first person to say it, And Kabuki Kid mentioned something like Forbidden Stars. That was a really, really good game from FFG, and it's it's gonna die because it isn't part of some giant game system that they can sell 8 billion miniature expansions for. So, I don't know. I'm getting curmudgeonly now again, which is my thing, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's I just wish that, like, you know, sometimes I wish that Gen Con wasn't as stupidly huge as it is, because it seemed like the first year I went was probably the best year that I went. You know, because it was big, but it wasn't ridiculously big, and it still was about games and not racing to be the one that had the information about this, that, and the other thing too. So, meh. What do I know? Nothing, apparently, because nobody cares.
21 people care.
You know, I care too. So I gotta go play Clank. Apparently, I'll go pre-order it right now. What do people want for Clank?
I'm just glad that Clank has become kind of the recurring theme of tonight's broadcast.
Well, you're welcome. Let's see here. Clank.
We're going to do a review on it tomorrow.
Yep.
Well, if we have all the assets ready, but...
Oh, there's 16 in stock right now at Miniature Market.
There you go.
I'm telling you, man, it's a fantastic game.
Oh, no. It's pre-order.
Surprisingly, I think people that do enjoy deck builders will... I mean, I have a few in my collection right now, and I'm telling you, this is the game that kills all the other deck builders that I have. It's that good.
Burgle your way to adventure in Clank, the new deck-building board game.
And Lance, remember the exclamation point.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Burgle your way to adventure in Clank, the new deck-building board game. Yeah. One false step and Clank. I did get to goof around with Black Orchestra, which was really cool. So,
Talk about
Yeah,
What?
what are your thoughts on that one? We played it, but we played it at Nerd Night, and I got to say the experience wasn't the best just because it was so loud in there, and we
We're
played on the
hoping-
hard mode, which we got just shellacked. I mean, there's a point on hard mode where you can't progress at all. Like you're going to have to roll 5 dice, and 4 of those are going to have to be perfects because there's no way to mitigate any of the dice really in the game. So hard mode is literally luck mode at that point.
Yeah, I kind of got the vibe that hard mode really should be almost called impossible mode.
Yeah.
And yeah, it felt to me like it really should only have been ruled out to standard mode. Like the fact that they had hard is probably not exactly hugely play tested, in my opinion.
oh,
Well,
I don't
think
know.
the designer said that to us too. He was like, we asked him, we said, have you ever beat this? He's like, we never played this. I mean, Philip was like, we never even played hard mode.
Really? Dewberry said that, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think, Lance?
Well, I didn't get to play it. I just got to dink around with it, like
Ah.
open it up, go through the page, go through it, look at
It's
stuff.
really cool and attractive. We'll have to. We're gonna play it again
Oh,
for sure.
Really? Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to give it a shot, of course. So,
It's okay.
but
Yeah, it's a game that we're going to have to play again to figure out. I like the theme, though, man. The way that... You didn't play it at all? The way that the characters or the Nazis move, and they move through you and bolster you up, but you're also trying to not be around them in certain aspects is kind of a cool aspect.
mm-hmm.
So it's interesting, but I think me and David both had a sour taste in our mouth just because we literally just couldn't do anything. Like it was pointless to play the hard mode.
Well, you know how you fix that, right? You
Don't play
better.
the hard mode.
No, you play better.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's all luck.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It just felt. I don't know. It wasn't even just the difficulty for me. The theme doesn't like resonate with me like it does Jeremy, and that had a part of an impact on me. But I just it felt a little, I don't know. I didn't. When I play a game like that, especially cooperative, I want a lot of the flavor to come out and feel like, oh, I see Himmler's here, so that's why this is happening. And I didn't really get that feeling of why.
It's kind of random. Like every turn, you're just randomly taking a random card and doing whatever it says, and then you're just randomly moving all these pieces, which feels really fiddly every round. Like I'm taking this, I'm moving here, and there's no real point in doing it other than a card tells you to do it.
Interesting. Well, I mean, like, I'll get a copy here eventually, and I'll give it a whirl. And when I defeat it on hard, I'll have to tell you about it.
Good luck with that, man.
Yeah.
You're going to have to roll 4 perfects out of 4. With no mitigation to them at all.
No, easy, no problem. I'll even film it for you, so then you can see how a master meets a game like that. But no, I mean, if Philip said that then that might be a problem. So you might just have to back off the difficulty then and play it, on standard or whatever.
Yeah. All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta get some.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up tonight too. It's getting late, so just gonna tell everybody thank you very much for taking the time. If you want to laugh, just like I said, Google that Rick and Morty clip. It is absolutely hilarious. Even if you're going to bed, give yourself 9.5 minutes to watch that. It is effing hilarious. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna watch it. When we go off the air, I'm gonna leave this on. I'm gonna convince you guys to watch it so we can all laugh at the same time. So cue it up, then we can watch it at the same time. But
go play Clank.
What?
Said go play Clank.
Go play. Okay, and go play Clank.
Yes.
Make sure you check out Man vs. Meeple. You can find them on the interwebs. You can Google, I'm pretty sure. And of course, Barry, the ever loquacious Barry.
Yep.
Behind him at the Gateway Gamer. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to watch us tonight, and I really appreciate it. And be happy, be healthy, and make sure you, just be good. Be good to one another out there. So, all right. Good night, boys.
Thanks, Lance. Bye.
All right.